Hello everybody, and welcome to the show. This is Comics News Today for May 11th. Wow, things are moving along. This year is certainly flying by, although for some people, I'm assuming it doesn't feel like it's flying by. But nevertheless, we're happy to have you guys here. Of course, we're doing our Comics News today. We're going to do our best to keep things as comic-y as possible. Although it's really difficult these days, guys. There's a lot of news that's not comics right now because of what's going on. But we're going to definitely stick into it. But I'm very happy to have you with us. Definitely check out our links down below. Also, hit me up on Twitter if you want to be on the show or you have some ideas for any of our shows that we do. And also, if you want to be on the Drawn and Quartered Ultimate Edition as an artist, just hit me up on my Twitter and I'll put you through that process. I would love to have you. Always happy to see new faces. So, I also want to come over here and say hello to our panel. And we have Slick Jimmy's in here with us right now. I'm sure others will come in soon.
Hello.
How you doing, Slick?
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah,
It's just me and you
just
having a
me and you.
day. It's
That's.
awesome.
Oh no, I'm happy with that. And how are things over in the Midwest of America?
I'm not in the Midwest. I'm in the West. I'm in Utah.
Is that what you
So,
guys consider you? So you don't consider yourselves to be the Midwest?
Utah. This is West.
All
We're not
right.
Pacific.
Well,
We're the West.
I
West is
consider
like,
everything on one side of the mountain to be West and the other side to be the Midwest.
well, the West I would consider anything like west of the Rockies. Like Colorado is, like Midwest and West. So
I see.
if you're on the west side of the Rockies, that's the West. And then once you hit like the Sierra Nevadas or the Cascades, that's where it ends.
Well, there you go. A little bit of education. So, because I always consider you guys being on the other side of that ridge, but I see what you're talking about. You're talking about those the big mountains. Yeah, no, okay, all right. So you are the West. There you go. But what's the weather
Pardon me.
like over there?
It was partially cloudy, but it got really warm today.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I was out and about earlier in the day, and then home and
we
I'm chilling
definitely
in the
getting
house.
warmer. It came out of nowhere. But at least it's sunny the past couple of days. We had a real rainy end of last week, but we got a nice, beautiful day. Looks like it's brewing today. And I got a busy one today. I got a ton of stuff I got to do today, but that's all right. That's life. But it'll be another one of those days where I creep in around 10 o'clock at night, I'm sure. But that seems to be pretty normal for me.
You're busy, busy man.
Yeah, and I married a woman who doesn't care, right?
Yeah,
And that's handy
keep you out of the
because
house, keep you out from underfoot.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, the Japanese women do have an expression that the best man is one who makes much money and is never home. So that,
There
that
you go.
is the culture. But yeah, so that all works out really well. But we are going to get into comic book news today. So before I do that, though, do you have any news you'd like to talk about, or anything you want to express, or what have you?
Well, if anybody's paying attention to my book, some people have been asking what's the status of it. I did put an update on the campaign today. I have to
Hmm.
check after I'm done with what we're doing here, and then my subsequent live stream with the letterer and see if we are done with that so I can get beta read done. And there we go. And then after that, if the beta read goes well, we'll do another round of editorial. Then I'll file. So
All
that's
right.
where we're at.
All right. Well, yeah, no, those things do take time, and you keep giving updates constantly about it, so it's all good. I seems that Nick wants to make sure that you and I both wash our hands. Okay, I'll try not to touch you through the internet, Nick. It'll be all right.
I
Uh,
wash my hands and my balls.
and my balls, yeah, so that's important. You gotta keep your balls washed and dried, ladies
That's
and
right.
gentlemen. That's true.
Blow dry.
Uh, yes, yes. But no, actually, with the hand washing, my wife she took this whole thing very seriously, even though we have nothing even close to us, right? As far as
Hmm.
all the people around me in this region, this whole Corona thing could be a complete sham for all we know because we have no evidence of it whatsoever. But she took it very seriously. Yes, it's a woman's job anyway. That's fine. But every time I come home, the first thing she does, okay, it's washing time, washing time. So I have to come over to because we live in this kitchen. Uh, I don't know. It's not a dining. It's not a living room, but this kitchen section is where we spend a lot of our time. And
Mhm.
so I have to go over to the kitchen sink and I kind of put my hands under the water, and she gives 3 squirts of the soap. Shoot, shoot, shoot. So every day I got to do this because she gets all moody if I don't. So
Don't don't you have one of those big shower bathrooms you see
we
in,
do,
you
we do
know,
have one of those.
and
Yeah.
then just, sit on a stool and then she scrubs you off,
Yep.
sprays you down,
Yep.
and disinfectant,
Those are
towels
awesome.
you down,
Yeah.
like a good wife.
Yeah, it's a good wife, yeah. But no, I love the Japanese shower slash bathrooms. Those are really cool.
Yeah,
They're large. You got a big bath built in. You got a shower. I actually have like a Roman shower built into mine.
yeah.
And
Strangely, that's how like really high class Mexican bathrooms are. They have these big tiled like shower bathrooms. So, like there's the commode is over on one side, and
yeah,
the whole thing's a shower.
yeah. Well, no, our commode is separate, as is the the sink is separate as well. But the big shower room is a big, just giant tiled room, with benches built into the walls, and it's a pretty
Yep.
cool thing. It's standard in Japan too, so it's not like mine is unique, but I do prefer them. Yeah.
Cool. Man.
Nick C says, Thundero, you got to wash your hands, dude.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
Thundero here?
he
Thundero
is.
makes an appearance.
He
You
does
need to
make
do
an
it.
appearance.
You need to do his
Oh, that's right.
intro.
That's right. I need to do this intro. As the heat waves and crackles off of the midday pavement, rising into the sky, creating great amounts of haze. There, amongst the haze, a blurred image starts to become reality as it approaches at high speed and lands with a crash, crackling the pavement and ripping it apart, throwing debris high into the air as the children watch in awe. And the mist fades. There stands Thundero.
Thundero.
How was
Yeah,
that?
that's right. That was good. That was much better than yesterday.
Yesterday was good. I don't even
Sorry, I didn't
remember
make
what
it.
I said. I don't
I'm
remember
so,
any of them, dude. They just
I'm sorry I
happened.
didn't make it yesterday. I was I'm doing other things.
We had a
Looked at the
great
time. I
talk
was
though
like,
yesterday.
oh,
It was kind of open-ended,
there's some
round
more.
robin type of thing. Slick. It was a lot
Oh,
of
okay,
fun.
good. Glad you had
Yeah,
a good time.
yeah. We
Yeah,
just
because once I
basically
looked, it
vented.
was like 9 o'clock, and I was like, oh, I missed that.
That's all good, man. That's all good. But we did have. I had a good time. What did you think of yesterday, Thundero?
Yeah, it was good. It's very good, actually. It was fun. Just shooting the old poop.
That's right. That's right. The metal says, "Got to remember to hose yourself down before you get in the tub. It's only proper etiquette." Yeah, no, the Japanese wash before they take a bath. It's weird.
What?
Uh,
Okay.
no, it is. They do. They take a shower and they clean themselves. Because that's what the shower head is there for, from their point of view. It's they
Mm,
shower themselves down, make sure they're very clean, then they get into the bath water.
gotcha.
That's their way. For me, I don't even touch the bath. I don't really like it. Only when my wife forces me. I mainly just use the shower. So we won't get into that conversation, Thunder. We'll leave that. We'll leave that alone.
Yeah. That's not for
That's not for
internet
public
discourse.
consumption. Yeah, no, that's true. Uh, well, how you doing, Thunder? What's
It's
going
not.
on, man?
It's not that kind of show.
I am. I am good. I am good.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's about it.
Thundero, you need to work on that.
Yeah. Well, all right, no problem. Let's jump into our news here today. And let's see, I got to do all this proper. So I got to come over here and I got to, oh, this is down at the bottom. I got to share my screen. And we got some sad news to start out with, though. But so these guys can see that. And then I'm going to come over and bring it up for you guys. Here we go. Ooh, goodness gracious, Thundera. Go ahead, dude.
Alrighty, Little Richard, high-spirited pioneer of rock and roll dies. That's a very well-crafted headline. High-spirited pioneer.
Flamboyant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, little Richard. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows who he is, but I, of course, grew up with the second coming of Little Richard. I would say he was, of course, got his. He was big in the '60s, I guess, but even up in the '80s, he kind of had this second coming, and he was a very popular MTV. MTV, a lot of the older stars came out doing really good production work, and kind of became part of the MTV when it first came out. And he was one of them. And he didn't make new music; he just being Little Richard. And of course, he was on a lot of public things like the Grammys and all kind of stuff. So I actually got to experience Little Richard directly, even though he's not from my generation. But very fun guy, very flamboyant, a little over the top, I think, but that was his shtick, and a lot of great music. Quite the entertainer, man. And
You gotta pour one out.
what do you say?
Gotta pour one out.
Yeah, well,
Play long,
I don't know what
play
that
long, tall
means.
salad too.
Oh, long, tall
Pour one
Sally. I
out.
see. I don't know
Well, no,
that.
you pour one out. Pour one out for your homies. You never heard
Oh,
that?
I see. I see. Okay, the whiskey thing. Yeah, no, Tutti Frutti, Long Tall Sally, Good Golly Miss Molly. Very fun, energetic, sock hop type of music, which is kind of his thing. But we haven't heard much of him in a while. But this is sad news. Little Richard, he's
That's a interesting tag there they have. Little Richard, if you scroll down just a little bit, Little Richard, or I guess it's part of the article, the high pompadoured singer.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think I had ever assumed I would see such a sentence, but there it is.
But it's accurate. It's accurate.
Yeah, it is. It is
It is.
accurate.
It is.
It is very accurate.
Because I mean, who else? The two people come to your mind with a pompadour, right? Well, three maybe. You got Little Richard, you got Amy Winehouse, and maybe the Stray Cats guy, right? But that's about it. I mean, of course, it was very popular. People had the pompadour, especially in the '60s. But he was definitely remembered for that. But I don't want to. He's such an old guy, and he has such a great career. I don't want to say it's sad because it's not sad. But for certainly condolences to his family, and safe journeys, of course. But it is kind of a moment. I think you should take. We should take a moment and think about it because I mean he's an American icon, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no question. No question. I think anybody, maybe not the younger generation, but pretty much anybody over 30 knows who he is for sure.
Well, he was singing back in the 50s. He precedes a lot of people. He's
Oh, yeah, no.
contemporary with Elvis and Buddy Holly and Jerry Lee Lewis.
Sure.
And he really, I mean, his presentation, there was nobody like it. Really was flamboyant.
Extremely.
And his sexuality was bent, I guess. And
Oh, I never really knew. I kind of I guess you just assume he was a gay guy, but I don't think it didn't matter. It wasn't part of his persona.
But man, was he a performer?
Well, great. He was great.
And
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
They did take from him.
Yeah. For me, he's kind of like the Black Liberace. That's what he was.
Yeah.
He's very similar.
Jerry Lee Lewis is very similar.
Yeah, but no, Jerry Lee Lewis is different. That guy would, bite the end off a whiskey bottle and drink it down before he hit the piano. That's a very different man.
And marry his 13-year-old cousin.
And mail his 13-year-old cousin. That's right. That's a hard drinking, hardcore dude. This is not
hardcore hillbilly.
Yeah, and it was something cool about it. You kind of loved him for it, right? But anyway, there's not much more to say. Give yourself a moment to think about Little Richard and all the work he did. And he's certainly a part of Americana, and he even in the early '90s, he was still in the zeitgeist of the country. So
definitely, I would say that Prince took a lot of vibe off of Richard.
Oh my God, yeah. I would say 100%. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Prince is very different, though. Little Richard, he seemed to be, because we don't know, but he seemed to be so natural in his way. He was just him on stage. It didn't really seem to be much of an act, although it might have been. It didn't feel that way, right?
He was always on. Whenever I saw him on camera, he was always that character.
Well, I've seen him live a couple times actually when I was younger. It's
right. He's really good.
Yeah, he's an excellent entertainer, dude. Excellent. But Prince is different. Prince is a unbelievable introvert. Was an unbelievable introvert, and it pained him to get on stage. It's weird. You wouldn't expect this because he just jumping little dude jumping around the stage all over the place, right? But he was terrified of being in front of people. He was very shy. It's not the same.
Once he got on stage, though.
Oh my God, yeah, freaking Prince, dude.
And did you see him live? Because I saw him live. Gosh,
My
To
wife
this
damn,
did.
was he good.
To this day, he is the greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all
Oh
time.
yeah,
Oh
hands
He
yeah,
was
down,
no.
I agree completely.
absolutely fantastic.
You,
He is the watermark by which everybody else is measured.
well, come
Yes.
on. You didn't like Madonna's?
No. Well, I mean, it was fine. It was a Madonna show, but compared to
Madonna.
Prince,
I was
it's just not even
I
comparable.
was being facetious.
I know you.
Yeah. But
Nothing can beat him playing Purple Rain in the rain.
and that was cool, dude. And he didn't care either. He was just doing
Nope.
it.
No.
To be fair, I would put up Michael Jackson's 80s Super Bowl show against it, though. That was a pretty good one, dude.
But and
His
everybody does.
Moonwalker.
Everybody compares Michael Jackson to Prince, but and again, Michael Jackson was an amazing performer, but Prince is
Oh no.
Prince was a true artist.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
in fairness, he could play most instruments. He could do it very well at a very high level. He could write
Multiple
actual,
octave
genuine
range.
music.
Well,
He
you know,
dance.
he could dance, and you know, obviously, as far as skill and talent, Prince is way above Michael Jackson. I want to talk about that. I was comparing Super Bowl shows only.
Yeah,
But
Oh,
no,
okay.
Prince. Actually, when you go listen to those albums from Prince, the only musician on that album is him. Right
Yeah,
now, he
depending
had
on
the
most of the album,
Revolution was a band that he brought when he went live, but all that production was him. He plays every instrument. He
two
does all
bands.
back covering and everything.
He had two
Which is
bands, the
insane.
Revolution and New Power Generation.
That's right. I forgot about the New Power Generation. You're right. Yeah.
I believe the Foo Fighters' first album was all Dave Grohl as well. Like, just in that same vein, just artists who can do it all. There's very few
Yeah.
of them musically who can, and Prince was one of them, definitely.
Well, yeah, no. Well, going to the Foo Fighters, I mean, he was the drummer for Nirvana, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and my wife loves the Foo Fighters, and you have to appreciate it. I'm not a big fan of that kind of music, but if you go watch any of their stage lives, those guys are awesome. You have to love them because they're there for the love of music, and they're just cool as hell. Yeah, no, if we get into music, we'll be here all day, Thundero.
I'm not even a big music person either. I just really respect the perform. When it's done well, I have to give it respect. And
Yeah,
Prince was absolutely a
Yeah.
masterful performer. So was Little Richard. Great performers.
Yeah.
Just all around. High energy. Brought you into it. Like, it's a talent. It's a skill that's very few people actually have.
yeah, and a lot of people like to connect Chuck Berry to Little Richard, and I never understood the comparison. I guess they're both high energy, but they're so different. This guy was flamboyant, very Liberace-esque, right? Where Chuck Berry is just the swinging dong, walking up and down the stage, just literally putting
Yep.
his crotch in
He's-
your face. I mean, that's fucking Chuck Berry, right? So I've seen him live too, right?
I've seen him live too. I
Yeah.
saw John Lee Hooker. I saw B.B. King.
Hey, John Lee Hooker.
John Lee Hooker. I met John Lee.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
I never
there's,
met any of
the
these
girl that
guys.
went to BYU. There was a guy that went to BYU, and there was a girl that went to BYU, and she grew up in the Bay Area, and her father was friends with John Lee, and she was kind of like one of the ones that went into her house. And so when we were one time we were going to the Bay Area, and we called up the girl, and she took us, and we met him.
That's cool, dude.
His hands were like these big, long-fingered spiders that were like really flexible, even in his old age. Really weird. Like he had huge hands.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of musical instruments that's very handy for. You know, the funny thing with me is because I've been playing saxophone since I was 5, right? And my palms are gigantic, right? I'm just a big, tall, giant thing anyway.
He's got big ham mitts. Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing. My palms are gigantic, but my fingers are short and stubby. And if I just take my hand and just kind of drop it on a table, you'll see they sit in a very weird position in reference to each other. But if you take and you put it on a saxophone, it's perfect. So because I started playing so young and I practiced every day for decades, my fingers grew to be perfect for a saxophone. This happens, right? If you look at piano players who start from a young age, their fingers are very long and spindly. So playing a musical instrument or working in any kind of trade for a long time when you're growing up, when you're a child, your body will adapt to what you're doing. It's very interesting.
Well, I mean, we're still on music here, but just one little aside. Andre Segovia, the classical maestro on guitar, he had little kind of stubby little fingers and hands, whereas a guy like Django Reinhardt, who's a very famous jazz musician from
Yeah,
France,
Django. Yeah.
he had actually fused fingers from a fire resemblance to the left hand, and he still could play just amazing
Well, he
stuff
had to
because,
relearn after that.
yeah, he had
Yeah.
to relearn.
Yeah. No,
So,
Django's
I
a
mean,
legend, dude.
and he's an inspiration to people who, when they say he couldn't do this, well, Django could.
Yeah, no, Django was impressive. Another is Rachmaninoff. His hands
Hmm.
were inhuman in their how
Yeah,
literally gigantic. That guy could stride with his hands an octave and a half.
yeah,
I don't know if you
and that's
understand
one of
what
the
I'm
reasons why
saying, but that's
his
freaking
and that's
insane, huh?
why his compositions are off hard. I think is because of the nature of his fingers.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean that, and if you don't never played the piano, I mean, I went to Berkeley in Boston. It's a music college, and I was
Right.
studying music education was what, and theory was my major there because I was double majoring because Brown University has satellite right there, so I kind of jumped between the two. But anyway,
Right. Right.
because of my major,
You went to Brown?
I did, yeah.
You're an
And
Ivy Leaguer. Oh my gosh.
I know I am. Shut up. Don't talk about it. People will hate me. I am an Ivy Leaguer. God damn it. That's my fault. All right. Fine. Moving on. But I had to learn to play every instrument. It's just part of the study. Now, the brass and woodwind, no problem. I can play those fine. I mean, I'm a saxophone player first and foremost, but I can play them all because I had to. But the strings I had a lot of trouble with because I just not good at strings. But I had to play piano, and my graduating recital, I guess you would call it, was frickin' Liszt, by the way. And I took 6 months practicing that damn piece. And to be fair, I think the because I did well on everything else, I think the professor just let me pass because it wasn't great. But nevertheless, I did play piano and practice quite a bit. But when you're for my hands, there's no way I can just touch one octave. If I really, really hurt myself and stretch out, I can just maybe touch it. But to be able to an octave and a half, it's like it's inhuman, dude. It's inhuman.
Yeah, he's got these ridiculously long. I mean, my thing, I maybe could touch the two keys, but I probably couldn't press.
Yeah, well, he could do it, freely and in stride, right? And I mean, and that was a joke. That was a piano joke. Did you get the joke? In stride.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you. All right, and Cultfin Video says Prince is a better dancer too. I agree. He was a
Yeah.
sexier dancer anyway. But let's not take anything
Oh,
away from Michael. All he really had was his dancing. Come on now, him
I'm just
dancing in Little
saying,
Boys.
Jeffrey went
Ah,
to
the boy
Brown.
could sing. The boy could sing. Definitely could.
Things are starting to add up real quick for us now, boys. He went to Brown. He likes the sexy way Prince danced.
Jesus, I've done such a good job in a year and a half not dropping that. Damn it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Little Richard has
I live
made
right
his
next to
impact
Brown.
forever
Just to let you
defied.
know, I've lived.
Yeah, I
I
agree,
lived right
Victor.
next to Brown.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
I did. I did. For about
You're talking about in
5
Providence?
I lived in Providence.
Oh,
I
wow.
lived, up in the east side of Providence, up there, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went to the
I
Providence
was
campus
about
sometimes, but mainly I just went to the satellite. But yeah. Anyway.
I was about 3 blocks from Thayer Street. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm from Rhode Island.
Oh, you're from Rhode Island. I thought you're from
No, I'm South County, Narragansett.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were in my area during my mission.
Oh, so you missioned over there. I get it now. That's cool.
I,
I'm a old swamp Yankee from Narragansett. My family's literally Mayflower, no joke. So they've been there forever, and yada yada yada.
you're a Quahog Digamofo.
Yeah, no, I am. I was. Yeah, that's right. Well, the escape road that goes down to Galilee, which is a pretty impressive bit of engineering that happened about, I don't know, it wasn't 100 years ago, 80 years ago, it was 70 years ago. Well, my grandfather was one of the people who built that. And of course, if you know what I'm talking about, then you know that on the side there is Quahogging Heaven. And
Mhm.
I've certainly spent some days in the muck, dude, without question.
Uh, yeah,
Oh God,
they,
Busby
they
went
had
to
me. They
Brown,
had me.
fed, confirmed. It's your fault, Thundero.
They had me. They had me. Fishing for blue and digging in the quahog. Pretty
if
fun.
I will say this, if Chester's a Fed and he and I are this friendly, that's not good for me.
Yeah, right. It would show my skill,
All right,
wouldn't it? Yeah.
we should probably move along. We're just rambling
Yeah,
here.
we are. We are. It's a fun ramble. It's a fun ramble. Let's move on and forget everything that was just said. Now we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I couldn't resist not bringing it up again. I just couldn't. Thundero.
You're making me read this. Thank you.
Yes, I am.
Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, that is poorly formatted, made an interspecies relationship between Constantine and King Shark canon. I'm just anything I say will probably get us taken down, so I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah, well, no, it's okay. Basically, what they're saying here is they've taken Constantine, they've made him bisexual. Of course, we got to do that. Can't be straight. I mean, goodness gracious. And he is basically
He was always bisexual.
was he? Okay, great. I've never
Yeah.
ever read that ever because I do recall him being in a lot of beds with a lot of women, and I've never seen him in one with a guy. So good on you, Todd. But nevertheless, I'm sure someone mentioned it somewhere because you got to have that in there. But from what I was reading yesterday, I think that article was more straightforward. He basically was the bottom for King Shark, and I know what a bottom is because a booster taught me. So we used to say pitcher catcher, but they have new words today.
Top.
Yeah.
Pitcher.
Yeah, that's what we used to say. But I don't know, Todd. What do you think about this ridiculous turn of events? Todd?
Well, it's kind of I don't know. I don't really read Constantine.
That's the problem. I love Constantine.
I used to like it. I used to love it. It was fantastic. But I haven't read Constantine in years. Every time I look in it, it just has an artist that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
so
fair. That's fair. It hasn't because mainly where I've been seeing a lot of Constantine is I was reading the was it the Justice League Dark? I guess is what it was titled. Yeah, Justice League Dark,
Right.
and it had him in there with Zatanna, and all the magical types were thrown together. So that's maybe where I've seen him, and also they've had some, because one thing DC does really well is a great animated series. And of course, they've had him in several over the past few years. He had his own animated show, and he was also in the Justice League Dark. Yeah, so he's definitely not been forgotten. But this is stupid. It's just stupid. I mean, first of all, King Shark is just a thing that eats people. I mean, he's not a deep character. He's a violent, and you can't even blame him. He's a shark man.
Maybe that's how Constantine.
But now they're having consensual sex. What? And why is King Shark gay? What'd you do it to him for? No comments. No one. No, I'm all alone here. All right.
These are questions that could be answered if I had any idea what's going on in DC.
Well, I mean, we've always said that DC is not as woke as Marvel, and I agree. Bullet. I got to go and change those because you're right, Thundero. They did reset the chat. I have to go and take it off strict mode. I gotta remember to do that today. Yeah, no, I don't know what to say. I just say we came up yesterday. This article is written more palpably. The other one was far more direct, but it's just dumb, dude. It doesn't make any sense to me. And when the hell was Constantine bisexual, dude? I've read so many Constantine comic books. When did that happen, Todd?
About 10 years ago, I think.
10 years? Because he's been in the bed of so many women, dude. So many women.
Yes, he has.
I'm looking at a picture of King Shark. Is he a hammerhead or is he?
Oh, he's a hammerhead, all right.
Is he? I thought he was a Jaws.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
he's
one
not a
of those
hammerhead.
sharp nose. So I guess there's two
Oh
different
God,
ones.
God.
But I'm looking at him.
Yeah,
I'm like,
hammerhead.
that's
Yeah. Okay. See,
that's
here's the
who's
thing.
doing Constantine. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
Oh,
just creepy. Brett S says Constantine is bisexual, which was first established in 1992 comics, which refer to offhandedly to him having ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends. Well, see, this is the problem,
Yeah,
isn't it, Brett? Because we have plenty, and they did the same thing with the Doctor Who thing. They just mentioned offhand, and then all of a sudden it's canon. Because since 1992, he's been in a ton of comics, and he's been in a lot of women's bed, and I've never seen him ever with a male ever. Even in a
no,
flirtatious manner.
it was even it's that was even further than I thought. I knew there was situations where he had been in bed with men and stuff, and then it talked
So
about and stuff like that. So
what would predicate Constantine?
It
Hey,
does.
look
It
at that.
don't
Bill
use big
there.
words like predicate. It doesn't belong in this conversation, dude. It really doesn't. This is morons. These are morons. Yeah.
Why,
But anyway,
why would this happen? I'm trying to visualize it in my head.
my
How the
question
scenario
is,
went down
why
that
did it
they
have
ended
to
up in
be?
bed.
Why did it have to be a mutated shark?
That's what I'm asking.
Like,
because it's creepy. They're weird people, dude. They're creepy. Do you see what they do on the internet and what these SJWs talk about? Just go pay attention. They're creepy, dude.
oh, I'm fully
it didn't
aware.
happen. By the way, this didn't happen in the comics. This happened in one of their animations.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Right?
It
'Cause
is,
now it's
because
something kids
This
can
is
get a
an
hold of.
animated.
Yeah.
There's
Exactly. It's indoctrination.
It's just.
okay.
And Slick, for some reason, you're super quiet. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that just
he
me?
is.
Hey, how you
His-
doing? How's this? Can you hear me?
Nah, your mic is really weird today. There's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
It's very
Anyway.
echoey and stuff. Yeah.
I'm
I think
sorry.
we should move on before
I'm
I
gonna.
do actually.
I'm going to
Let's
move
get
on. I'm just the chat is making all kinds of innuendo, all kinds of it. But I just
Can you
don't
hear me
understand.
better
Say it again.
Can you hear me better now?
Your mic is weird. It's kind of like you're in a box. There's something, I don't know if it's a setting or the mic has had some kind of problem or something like that. But it does sound weird. But the thing with it is though, and Thundera mentioned this has mentioned this a couple times. I mean, me personally, if you occasionally have a gay character in there, well, that's life, right? And I could care less. But they have to make everybody gay or at least bi these days. What
No,
the hell?
1992 was a long time ago.
Yeah, but
This
once
is
again, that's
actually
an
a
offhand
But
comment.
but it was okay. That's how it originally happened. But there were plenty of times since then where it was either done or mentioned, or even more so. But it fit the character. It was okay with this character. I never would have even cared.
Dude, I have
the-
read a lot of Constantine in my life. I
So
like
haven't
Constantine. I'm
I.
like Booster. I like Constantine, dude. And I have never seen it even mentioned or even reference to it. He's like the dude. He's one of those kind of guys. I mean, he's always chattering. He's a chatterbox, but he's always sexing up the ladies. What the hell, dude?
Oh, really? He's always been a bit of a puff, if you ask me.
Well, he's British. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the rules. Yeah.
Dillard, you can bite me, brother. You can bite me. All right. I'm moving on. Damn it. All right. Now, this is pretty interesting. Go ahead, Thunder.
Deadpool? Well, Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld questions Marvel Studios Phase 4 plans. Says Deadpool 3 not happening.
Yeah.
Does he have that authority?
Yeah. Well,
Does he have that?
let me set the stage for you because this is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. Liefeld was on a stream. I can't remember which stream it was. It was some weird looking big Afro white boy. I don't know what that was. But anyway, Liefeld was on the stream. He was drunk off his ass for one. All right, which was funny in and of itself. And he was sitting there going off on Kevin Feige because basically they've dropped Deadpool altogether. It's done. You're not going to get any more at all. Right? Even if you do, it's going to be years later and it'll be some PG-13 crap. right?
Yeah.
So Feige has completely dropped Deadpool altogether. And you know how we read that rumor the other day that Ironheart might be being made for Disney Plus? Well, Liefeld in a way confirmed it because in place of Ironheart, Deadpool has been dropped. Now he was drunk. Let's keep that in mind. But he was livid. He was not a happy
Oh,
boy. Yeah.
Disney just loves to not make money. Remember, Deadpool was, I believe, the second or maybe
Oh
even
my
for a while the
god! I can't
first
believe you just said that.
most
The
successful.
Marvel movies have been
Todd,
hugely
Todd,
successful.
Todd,
You
Todd,
just said the most
Todd.
moronic thing.
Okay, Todd, you're
Disney
done.
doesn't like
Shut
to
up.
make
I'm trying to
money.
talk.
Come on,
Anyway,
though. Don't speak out of your ass. Come
Deadpool
on.
was
Seriously.
probably, and I
Todd,
think it was the
stop it, dude.
first or second most successful. Oh, I hit the wrong one. There we go. Was the most successful R-rated movie of all time. So I think it was behind Passion of the Christ when it first came out. Eventually, it passed it. Then, of course, obviously, Joker came out and blew all those records away. Why Disney would not want to make more money with that blows my mind. Just blows my mind. They have an easy winning formula when it comes to Deadpool. Make funny R-rated movies, and they choose not to do it. Why?
Well,
That's my question.
it's a good question. It's because they have other things on the agenda, I think, and it's one of the Fox projects they probably just put to the side. They probably said we're just going to put all the Fox stuff over here, and we're going to continue what we were doing, which is dumb. They should incorporate it immediately. But
I
of course, I know Liefeld created Deadpool. That's why I mentioned it, moron. Before it didn't know it was John's having fun over here, trying to get my goat. But yeah, no, I think that's what they did, which I think is dumb. They should have jumped on instead of trying to put out this sad what is it? The new X-Men or New Mutants movie, which everyone clearly said was really bad. It's been the poor thing has been stepped over many times. They should have just made their own. First thing they should have done is jumped on bringing the X-Men back in a new way. I think. And Deadpool, of course, would be part of it. It'd be a good transfer. You could use Deadpool to introduce it. That's what they were doing in the movies anyway, right? But they clearly they decided to put all that stuff on the back burner, and they're just they're going for their own Phase 4 stuff. And it's unfortunate. And I have a feeling we'll see Deadpool eventually. I think Liefeld was just overreacting in a way. I think we'll see it eventually, but it won't be what we imagine, and I bet you it won't be with Ryan Reynolds either.
Well, that would be a shame because Reynolds put his blood and sweat into getting that movie
did.
made for like a decade.
He did.
And that's really the thing that sucks here is because Ryan is perfect for Deadpool. He's been great as Deadpool in both movies, even if the second one wasn't quite as good as the first, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But
Now, and
it's a shame. Todd, you're unmuted, by the way. You can talk.
oh, go ahead.
yeah.
Finish. Please finish. Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're
All
good.
right.
I was
No,
done.
I just wanted-
It's just a shame. That's all.
It is a shame, and I just want to respond to what Eric said. Yeah, and that's confusing to me too, dude. Eric says, and are talking Deadpool 3. We are talking Deadpool 3. Reynolds just was on a show last week talking about it, and Disney announced the next one would be R-rated last week too. Well, dude, they talked about it being R-rated before that, months ago. And that's why it's such weird news, because as far as I knew, we had an R-rated Deadpool 3 on the way. Right, but now Liefeld was on a live show going on about it, angry at Kevin Feige because they dropped it. So I mean, and you would think he would know, seeing as I'm sure he gets he gets some rights involved with it. Does he still own Deadpool, Todd? I know the rest of his portfolio was sold.
Nobody. When you do something for Marvel, you don't own anything.
Okay,
They
well,
own
there you
everything.
go. Right,
But he isn't. I would never say he's a person in the know. I wouldn't give him that.
Yep. Well, I mean, it is.
Maybe they just changed the dates have been changed on everything, and maybe they pushed it back because I saw something where you're gonna see. I don't know if it's the X Mansion or the Danger Room and something.
Yeah, I heard that too. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
This is such
so-
a conflict of information.
Maybe it's just to be. Maybe we should just say, maybe there's just a slicker way they want to do it, and get the whole mutants sort of kind of going all at once, but not.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But give you a nice little segue into that.
Well, I'm not sure, dude, because Liefeld was livid. I mean, he was all upset and bent out of shape, dude. So I don't know. He knows something. Something came down to him, and he decided to get drunk and go on a stream and bitch about it. That's what happened. So something is going on. It's not like he just is having some delusion. Clearly, he's been told something, right? And it's weird because, like I said, far we all know there was a Deadpool on the way. Right, so I don't know. Brett Smith, Brett S says, in my opinion, Joe Kelly had more to do with making Deadpool than Liefeld. He brought the trademark personality elements to the table. I would agree with that, dude. But of course, Liefeld was the initiator, so I mean, he gets credit where credit is due, and he clearly loves Deadpool. That's the thing to keep in mind. Liefeld was a promoter and a pusher of Deadpool for as long as I can remember. He was kind of Stan Lee-esque in that way when it came to Deadpool. But so he's certainly part of the conversation. But I get your point. Yeah.
I'm back, fellas.
Well, hey, I didn't know you were gone.
Much better. He sounds. Oh, that's so much better.
That is
So
better.
much.
Well, I'm on my what do you call it? The Blue Yeti. So
Ooh, that's much better. Oh, clearer. You're probably sexier than me. Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
All right.
This is about to turn into a Constantine episode. What's
Oh
going on here?
no! Let's not do that. See, the jokes just came right off that, didn't it? Thundera was mad with power. All right. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I definitely appreciate Liefeld. He's a great voice to have in support of the character. Yeah, no, I agree with you as well, dude. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Bullet. Slick's voice is like black velvet painting. Yeah.
I just hope Disney does the smart thing here and lets them make Deadpool movies. The first two did very well.
Yeah.
They had very low budgets and they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So let's hope they keep doing that. And then, no, there's no reason not to, other than, I don't know, some control thing. They want to bring him into the MCU or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with it. I just can't imagine they would drop it all together. It doesn't make sense.
Well,
But
he is part of the MCU.
yeah, of course he is. Yeah.
Yeah, because they got Fox.
Yeah. But I mean, because for me, the first Deadpool movie was freaking epic. That was beautiful. Great, great movie. It was so much love just pouring out of that movie. Second one wasn't as good, but it was still great entertainment, great fun. And it's just, man.
But the second one may not have been as good.
No.
But the whole Juggernaut thing was a complete surprise to me.
It was cool seeing the Juggernaut. It was, but I don't know about sticking electrical lines up his ass, though. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that was a little silly. Yeah. But the rest of it was pretty good. The Juggernaut thing was a complete surprise. I don't think anybody knew that was coming, actually. I don't remember anybody talking about him being in that movie.
And it was a proper Juggernaut, too. Not to
he was huge.
He was, but I mean, I'm not to disrespect the X-Men. Who's the guy who created those original X-Men with that British guy as the Juggernaut? I can't remember his name. Damn it!
Vinny something was
Singer or something like that. But anyway,
Brett Singer.
Brian Singer, yeah. But the guy they used for the original Juggernaut in the movie, of course, he didn't look like Juggernaut, but he was cool. I don't mind it, but that was nice to see. CG Juggernaut in front of you. It was pretty cool.
The actor was Vinnie Jones. That's what.
Vinnie Jones was the one that was in earlier.
Yeah, no, Vinnie Jones was the actor. Yeah. And Dillard says that Slick's voice gives me hypertension. All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Let's move on here. Let's see here. Go ahead, Thundera.
Other publishers in talks with Lunar for comic shop distribution following DC. Interesting. Good. Yeah. No, I thought this was an interesting article. We already knew this, but just Newsarama, who is very mainstream in their opinions, of course, covering this. I thought, we've heard of a couple of groups trying to go with this new Lunar thing that's set up, and of course, I think Todd had made comment that Lunar is not diving into all avenues, but I think it's competition is a really good thing, and I wish Lunar all the best of luck, and I hope they have a lot of success, because if they're more successful, Diamond will be better.
And that's what we want.
Diamond will have to up their game.
They
So,
will. They will. And Todd and I over on Pontificators, we've had 2 full shows talking about Jeppy and his diamond, publishing and stuff. And he and I have very different opinions on the situation. But I think we would agree that more competition is better for the success of Diamond as well. Don't you think, Todd?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But now, what about this comment from Nick, though? He says, Don Geppy won't let this stand.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, he just, they are Italian, but I don't know what they can do. I just don't know if this place, these 2 companies ramped up their ability to do this for DC. Doesn't mean they'll have to do it for a while so they understand, they get the idea of it and make money at it before they jump in with other publishers. But we'll see.
Uh-huh.
They could. I mean, obviously I just don't know what they were distributing before DC contacted them. Yeah. Because if they distribute other things to other places, and now you're going to add, say you add 300 regional comic book stores to whatever that they do, well, that's still a lot for a company to ramp up for, and add trucks and add routes and add drivers. So it's not this is not something that's going to happen overnight. I just wonder how much of this we can count on,
Yeah. Well, and I agree with that. But I'm happy. I want to see more competition because the free market is what makes things better. And for one, even though in my conversations on Pontificators, I might sound like I want the death of Diamond. That's not true. I just want to see Diamond be better. And this will help them do so. And by the way, he's not Italian, Todd. You may use the word WAP, Guinea, or Guido, whichever you'd like. Just to clarify.
Fredo. For God's sakes, don't call him a Fredo.
No, don't do that.
Dillard says that they sound like I'm constantly drinking gravy.
Probably you are. He's got a bottle right next to him. Competition.
Well, everything with me is gravy. You know what I'm saying? Free
the market, free the nipple. It's all good. I agree, Brett. But anyway, I just wanted to mention there's not much here, as you can see, the typical Newsarama stuff. There's another article here. I don't know why these guys even call themselves reporters, because all they do is put a little blurb. Would that take 5 minutes? But the concept is certainly worth talking about, and it's not that we've talked about it already. I just like to see more of it. Moving on here. Now, this is an interesting one. Thundero.
Lord of the Rings consulting producer claims he's not recruiting Dana Schwartz for Amazon's upcoming Lord of the Rings series. So they are still pushing forward with that, even though they keep going through production staff like crazy, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, now I missed something because clearly I didn't know that there was a controversy about Dana Schwartz possibly being involved. Clearly, there was, so much so that they had to come out and make a public statement about it. And it's interesting that they felt they had to do that, because we know who Dana Schwartz is. She's the one that's She-Hulk. She's the one that's working with Disney Plus to create the She-Hulk series. She's an absolute man-hater. She's all about twisting and lesbianizing She-Hulk and all the kind of nonsense she's done with her. Well, actually, I wouldn't even say lesbianizing. I'd say transgendering is what she's been doing to She-Hulk. But that's who Dana Schwartz is. And I didn't even know that there was some claim that Dana Schwartz was going to be part of this. But clearly Amazon was like, no. And they had to come out and get ahead of it. So I didn't even catch that previous news, but it's telling that Amazon can see very clearly that she's nothing but toxic, and they needed to make sure we understood she's not part of the project. Right?
Yes, I agree with you. That is a very obvious signal, right? It's a form of marketing, basically. They're just trying to make sure, put that fire out so people don't get, upset about who they have working on this project. Because I hope, and it seems like they are, Amazon is taking this very, very, very seriously. And that's a good thing, because it deserves to be taken seriously. The material they're using is extremely important in fantasy. It's quite literally the foundational
Yep.
material for most fantasy when you get right down to it.
Sure.
Well,
So
also,
it's-
I think they saw what happened to Star Wars, and when you have like such a they have this IP that is literally sitting on gold, and if you do not take it seriously, look how it gets squandered.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. And I'm glad they came out and said this too, Zach, because Naughty Dog here has been Naughty Dog has had a lot of trouble over the past few years, and it's because they've been invaded by the Anita Sarkeesian, and that ass that's in charge of the Last of Us 2 project. But they didn't do that. They went and they listened to one of these psychos, and they made The Last of Us 2 all about the identity politics, and they've shot themselves right in the face because of it. It was so bad that the people inside the studio had to leak it out because they were so offended by what was going on. That's the situation with Naughty Dog, and and that's bad enough. But then they had to go and constantly attack anyone who said anything negative, community claiming, copyright claiming, on and on and on, and they're still up to their shenanigans. So this is what Amazon's trying to get in front of. There's like, no, we have nothing to do with that nonsense. We're not attached to her whatsoever. Please, 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 right?
please buy your products.
And please buy our products. And good on them, right? Because that's their job, to sell stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, in some things, I'm a big proponent of sacredness. I don't believe we should kill our sacred cows just to kill them. There needs to be a very good reason to abandon traditions, and Lord of the Rings is something that should be held sacred in our culture, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's funny from the chat. Nick C says, "What? Why not? Dana Schwartz is such a huge creator, and it has nothing to do with Jonathan Schwartz, the big-time MCU producer supporting her. Nothing at all."
No, of course not. Of course not. There be no nepotism.
Nothing.
I don't.
No
I just don't
nepotism.
want to. I just don't want one of our last great, franchises to be eviscerated.
Well, and I think we
Because-
should feel ourselves a little lucky here with this, because it seems like Amazon's not going to allow it, but that could come back to bite me, I think. But it seems so. And that's great, because even Dune has been taken over by identity politics, dude. Even Dune, a story
Yeah,
all
the
about a
Tolkien-
boy, a prince, right?
The Tolkien estate is they're pretty serious about keeping true to what they're
Yeah.
what
And
the
this
great
is a
sire
prequel,
had done.
too.
So
Yeah, so that's going to be awesome. And I'm kind of wondering, I don't really know enough about it to speak on it, but I'm wondering how far they'll go back. Will we have young Aragon? Is that how far back we're going to go, or are we going to go back, like Silmarillion back? I don't know.
I'd love Silmarillion though. So
It would be
that'd
cool,
good.
dude. And if you think about it, if you ever read Silmarillion, it's a hard slog. I understand that. But if you ever read it, dude, there's some epic stuff in that, because that's dealing with gods, right? Whereas the Lord of the Rings is down to the humans, to the age of the humanity coming in, right? What?
I'm laughing at Dillard. He's been trolling in the chat over here this whole time. He's funny. You're funny, John. I love you.
Oh,
I love you, John.
Blazer.
My favorite Mexican. Mexican
is.
with the whitest name in the world. I love you.
That's true. I know John Dill is awesome. But any other comments on this? It's happy news, I think.
Yeah, no, it is. Hopefully. I think Jeff Bezos is a different kind of evil than the identity politics kind. So I wouldn't be surprised if his Amazon Prime Studios, whatever they're called, would just try to veer from that a little bit. Like, especially for something this important. I'm sure Bezos is a Lord of the Rings fan. I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah.
He's a super nerd, so it'd be shocking if he wasn't into it. So I would venture to guess that even he would want this to be really good.
Yeah.
If it's got the Amazon name on it, he wants it to be really good.
And he might also not be as much a micromanager as we see with other these other studio or big time Silicon Valley guys. He just might not be a super micromanager in that way. But then again, keep in mind, we were from Amazon. We were supposed to get Conan, and that looked like it was moving on just fine. And then it got canceled because they were having a lot of arguments over the nature of Conan. And I mean, if you do Conan correctly, well, he's not a good
It's
guy, is he?
IT.
Nope.
Sure,
Very
he's
problematic.
Yeah.
he's
Yes.
IT.
He's very
And,
IT. I mean, he's the guy
you
that
know.
saves the girl from getting raped so he can have sex with her. I mean, that's Conan.
Yes.
That's right. And he steals stuff and he runs around. He's a bit of a barbarian from what I
Yeah, a
hear.
little bit. Yeah.
Strange that they call him that. That's weird.
It is weird.
Coincidence? I think
I
not.
think not. Well, look at this comment. Brett S says, "Look how good The Boys was." Well, you know what? Speaking of that, haha, I'm on it.
The Boys celebrated Mother's Day with a severely creepy Homelander promo. I did not see this, but I need to.
What? It's awesome, dude. Hold on a second. No, here we go. Here we go. I gotta watch it. Hold on a second. Let me get it in here. Let me bring it in. Let me make it full screen.
Gods are pure.
Oh, baby, mama.
And they're perfect.
Are you looking at fat material? What's going on?
You can watch it. It's right in there for you to see.
I don't see it. I just see your live
You
thing.
have to click on Chester's name, and then there's like a. It says watch and it says watch
It's
stream.
beautiful. Let's watch it again. I gotta watch it again. Hold on a second.
You're gonna get this taken down.
Gods.
It's awesome. You get it. She did such a great job in that role too.
Take off your pants.
Yeah, baby. Now, should I give spoilers? Can I give spoilers? Because it only makes
No.
sense if you watch the show.
No. Yes, go ahead. I don't know. I think it's
Okay, spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1. He burns her head off with his laser vision in the end. It's beautiful. She's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very dead.
She's super dead.
Yeah,
Big
So that's
time.
what happened to the babysitter.
Super dead. Yeah, no, that is wonderful, dude. I love it. Happy Mother's Day, because in the show, they changed the boys in many significant ways. They did. So if you're a purist and you're for Garth Ennis's The Boys, I can understand the frustration. Some of the changes were, identity politics changes, but it wasn't that bad in your face, though, I have to say. But they did make changes, and a lot of the changes they made was with the Homelander. And Homelander here, I think they portrayed him well. The actor did a wonderful job, and she is kind of managing. Her job is to manage him, because if you read the series, well, I'm not going to get into the spoilers of that, but she's managing him, and he likes to drink milk from her teat. And she also will sexually deal with him. I think I don't think there's any penetration going on, but nevertheless, it's a very creepy relationship they have. And in the end, he finds out that she was lying to him. Of course, everyone's lying to him, and he just melts her head off in a beautiful scene. Beautiful freaking scene. I apologize for the spoilers. You should go watch it yourself, because there were some brilliant moments in that show. Brilliant moments.
Yeah, no, that show is spectacular. It's not comic accurate in a lot of ways, like
No.
you said, but it's so well done, especially Homelander. He absolutely kills it.
He does.
For the first episode, because I had never read The Boys until this, I went back and read it after this. The first episode, I honestly believed he was a good guy until the end. They had me. They had me hooked. I was like, oh wow, okay, so there's one that at least is, and then no. Nope.
Yeah, well, and so a lot of the changes didn't really bother me so much. It does have a little bit of anti-Christian slant to it, where I didn't really get that out of the book so much. There's certainly anti-superhero feeling. Well, it's Garth Ennis, of course. There's some anti-political or anti-man type of things, of course, but I didn't really get an anti-Christian feel. But the show had one. The show was definitely had that. So
We're
there's
easy targets.
yeah, it's true. It is true. And Christians don't complain. And when it comes right down to
No,
it,
we don't.
which
We
is a
don't.
positive
We
for
don't.
you guys. I overall, when we talked about this when it came out, and we talked about it, but I was kind of up in the air. What do I really think about The Boys? But I still don't know if I like it. But it's absolutely spectacular in so many ways. I don't know. But that's great.
Yeah.
That's freaking troll. That's an A+ troll right there, baby.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, most Christians aren't going to complain. You got to be part of the Church of the Militant Christ to, get up in arms.
Yeah. But anyway, I just thought that was a funny little thing. It's cute. Any comments on it before I move on?
No.
No. I'm looking forward to season 2, though. So I guess I can say I guess I liked it. I don't know. It's weird though. I mean, it's weird, Thundera, because it's freaking spectacular, dude. They did a great
Mhm.
job with the show, but something inside of me just doesn't want to give in. What is it about it that makes me feel that way?
I think it's probably just a little bit of expectation. Plus, we don't know where they're going to go with it in the next season. And they did take the obviously cheap shots at Christians, which
And
at
others.
this point I welcome those because that's far less cringy than cheap shots at literally straight people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Christians can take that. I think their crosses they're strong enough to hold that cross,
Yeah.
and they're used to it by now. So
They've
that
lived through The
and it-
Simpsons, right, Thundero?
Exactly. that basically just made me roll my eyes like, okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rest of it was spectacular. It was irreverent. Butcher was great. He was
Oh,
great
yeah.
throughout the whole thing. He was funny. He was menacing when he had to be. Just one of his best performances in his whole career for Carl Urban. That was
Oh, Carl
unbelievable.
Urban's badass, yeah. But here, there's another thing that really kind of bugged me, and I think this is a big part of why I can't 100% endorse it. Is the fact that in the comic, the opposing force to the nonsense of the superpowered was Butcher and his team who had access to the compound, right? So they were superpowered themselves. But in the show, they have no superpower whatsoever, and it doesn't work for me. And I'm wondering in season 2, are they going to kind of fall into it, and that's where it's going to change? I mean,
Well, with
don't they
the-
have to do that?
I would think so, yeah. But and with the revelation, this is total spoilers, but this has been out for over a year now, so eat me if you get mad. With the revelation that they can make superheroes whenever they want, it seems like, because Homelander does, he makes a supervillain. They probably will. At least a couple of them will definitely get something, a boost of some kind, because otherwise, there's literally no way they can stand up to Homelander. He's
Yeah.
godly in his power level. Like they'll just get squashed whenever he's ready to squash them. So I think they will for sure. I
And
think you'll see him power up.
I hope so. I mean, they have to. But there's so many twists and turns in that story. There's so many. Garth Ennis kicked ass on The Boys. It's my favorite thing he's ever done, and it's one of my favorite comic book series. It's really good. They could, if they do it right with this show, it could be truly epic. And I'm more than happy to give them time to do so because it's done so well. Oh God, I can't talk about it, Thundero. Because it's just crazy spoilers. I don't want to ruin the comic for people if you haven't read it. But anyway, I got to move on because I will spoil shit. I got to move on. Moving on. This right here is another bit of happy. We've got a lot of happy news today, Todd.
Kickstarter comic outreach lead Camellia Zhang amongst layoffs. Oh, okay. That's just worded weird again. So the Kickstarter comics outreach lead, Camellia Zhang, is amongst layoffs. Wow. Learn English, people. Holy cow.
They laid off 400 people. I didn't
They
even know
did.
they had 400 people.
Yeah, they
Right?
did 40% of the staff, which doesn't make sense to me because Kickstarter hasn't lost any money during this, dude. I've been paying
No, they've
attention.
made money.
They've made a
Yeah,
ton of
they've
money.
been making money.
So what's going on? Because I always pay attention to the board game stuff. I mean, I don't buy as much as I used to, but I've been following the whole thing along, and there hasn't even been a blip on Kickstarter. So what's all this coming from? I wonder. You know what this might mean? They might be selling it because this is usually often what happens before a big sale.
Well, also it would make a lot of sense for the people who started Kickstarter to just sell it now. Not that crowdfunding is ever going to go away or even probably lose profitability, but a lot of times these people, they start these websites. It's a pretty new idea or a fresh idea or a fresh way of doing it. They build it up and then they sell it for a couple $1 billion and just retire.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's
yeah.
I can see that happening with Kickstarter. No problem, no doubt. Easy.
And this might be something that Amazon might buy. This would be perfect for them, to be honest with you.
Oh, that'd be so cool to have an integrated system straight from Kickstarter straight into like a kind of in-demand how Indiegogo does it, but on Amazon.
Yeah, no, it would be a smart move. I'm speculating, of course, but I just feel that might be what's going on because there's no reason for them to do these layoffs. But we'll see. And keep in mind, Kickstarter is created by a bunch of New York soy boys, literally.
Mm.
But it was a phenomenally brilliant idea, and it's been very successful. It's made a ton of money. It made board games got to the point over the past 10, 15 years on Kickstarter that the whole market for board games really is coming from Kickstarter. And we see other projects as well. These things will make millions of dollars. It's been a very successful thing. Now that speculation aside, this Camilla Zhang information is interesting because if you keep in mind, about a year ago, we covered her being hired by Kickstarter, and keep in mind at that time, John Malin was on his hardcore kick against Kickstarter because they canceled him. And all, and I understand why. I totally get that. But keep in mind, Indiegogo has done similar crap. But so we were. It was part of that kind of Kickstarter coverage we were doing, and we talked about her coming on. And this is a hardcore identity politics SJW feminist. This lady, right, and
Mm.
proud of it too. Proud of it. And her opening mission statement and stuff. And they say she's the outrage lead. Well, no, she's in charge of PR and she's in charge of who gets to be on the platform and who's not. She's much bigger than that. And it's interesting that they let her go because she was their big identity politics statement. So I think it's interesting they let her off, and then she makes this big, oh, it's her type of crap. I don't care. I'm happy she's gone because she's a bitch. But other than
It's so hard to say goodbye
that,
to that bitch.
but anyway, that's why I wanted to cover it because it's kind of a follow up. But it's weird though, guys. Why? First of all, why are they firing so many people? One and two, why would they fire her when she was clearly a political statement from them? It's interesting. Why?
I wonder, like, I think you might be onto something. I think your business sense kicked in there a little bit. They're probably trimming fat, and they must consider her fat. So they may very well be looking either to restructure or to just sell it outright. And
Well,
they
they-
want to
they-
have it streamlined and solid looking as possible when they do that.
Also, well, you got to think of if they're truly businessmen, they're looking at this person who's literally denying projects that could be making them money for
Yeah.
no good reason other than her personal preference. You know what I mean? And it's not like they it was because if I were Kickstarter, I would want every project I possibly can, minus ones that are egregious and unlawful. You know?
No,
and
true,
that and
true.
so it's like if why wouldn't you fire this person logically? Why wouldn't you fire this person who is literally costing think about John Malin, what you said with John Malin. Think of how much money they could have made. You know?
Yeah, true.
Think of how much money they could have made it with Ethan Van Sciver if they weren't being such horror, like if this lady wasn't there, like they probably, because they definitely are keeping tabs on what we're doing over on Indiegogo.
Oh, for sure.
So
yeah,
so they're like, wow, look at all this money we didn't make, and then they look at her and they say, you're not worth it. That's what I would hope would be in their minds.
Well, and Zach, and that's why Amazon kicked into my head so quickly. Not only because it's a perfect fit, because it is, but also because that's something Amazon would do. They would clean house, dude. They wouldn't want that kind of thing up in their face. They want to make Amazon's about making money. I know Bezos is a jerk and he's done a lot of horrible things. Sure, I get it, but he's also about making money. Right, and that's why those two things clicked in my head, and it just instantly Amazon. And I'm the more I sit in here and talk about it, the more I think is Amazon's buying Kickstarter, dude. I really think that feels like what's happening, doesn't it?
Could be. It would make sense. Amazon. I would venture to guess this summer Amazon's going to be buying up a lot of stuff.
Well,
they're one of the only companies who are still super strong in this space, and they're for a good reason.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of juicy morsels out there that they could sink their teeth into.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Some that probably shock people at how big these could be.
Well,
we'll see.
When you have financial downturns like we have here, unfortunately we have here, this is when banks and other big companies go and gobble the stuff up. They always do, right? Consolidation, yeah. And one thing to keep in mind, although there's so much negativity coming from a certain side of the press, keep in mind that next year, I think if you still have Trump at the helm, I think this will get worked out just fine. I think he'll flatten it out and it'll be fine. The he we that's one of the main reasons to vote for him, I think, because we need a businessman in charge more than ever right now. And we'll see how it works out. I don't want to jinx it, but we need Trump more than we ever have, because he will work this downturn out. He will work it out for sure. But
Brett
interesting.
Brett S asks, could Amazon Comixology Kickstarter be the new comics industry?
Ooh.
It would make a lot of sense. Amazon has all the infrastructure for distribution that you could ever need. All they would really need is a printing house, and Amazon has the money to set one of those up overnight.
Easily.
So
Maybe they would get even better, because I don't know if you guys know, they don't print comic size comics. They don't have that size.
Yeah.
Everything's a little off, but I wonder if they could get better and get into the game. That'd be something.
I'm sure they could. And the thing with the Amazon, you got to keep in mind, these guys are sandbaggers. They're absolute sandbaggers, dude. I mean, look what they're doing with the streaming service platform. The Amazon Prime has a few originals, but mainly it's a bunch of classic stuff. And you know they have money. They have more money than anybody. They're bigger than everybody. They're going to be the first $1 trillion company if they're not already, right?
they already were.
Well, I know they were close to it, but that was like a year ago, so they probably already passed that number. I don't know. But my point being is they have not pushed, and they're waiting to see what Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu, and they're waiting to see how it all washes out, and then they're going to come on like a hammer. I'm telling you. Amazon is sandbagging hardcore, dude. And if they're sandbagging into, like you guys are saying, this crowdfunding platform, which is very profitable, and also into the comics, so what Todd had mentioned, make a full push on it, that would be interesting, dude. That would be interesting.
That'd be very good for the comics industry, actually, worldwide. Amazon is the only company that has that global distribution network,
That's true.
and it could revolutionize comics globally. That'd be great.
God, dude, what have
my
we got
goodness.
onto with this article? I was here just to laugh at freaking Camilla.
Dude, just think about that. You know, you make a comic on Kickstarter that gets put into, distribution through Amazon. Think of like how much money creators would save because of distribution, just of that, because you would just put your product on, and then as soon as all the Kickstarter or whatever they would call it is done, the person would have already purchased like whatever shipping through the Amazon, so the person wouldn't even have to could calculate that anymore.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect solution to the problem. Perfect solution. They can drop the North American comics, they can drop the manga stuff from Asia, and they can drop the European graphic novels, dude. They can unify the entire freaking thing. My God, someone call freaking Amazon.
Somebody get a hold of Jeff right now. We need Lex Luthor. We don't need Superman. We need Lex.
You
I
do.
have Bezos' number.
Yeah, just let me get my Rolodex on a second. Do people still have Rolodex? I wonder.
I don't think most people under what
A Rolodex is.
don't even know what a Rolodex
I have a
is.
Rolodex, and it's full of
I do
business
too.
cards.
I still have one.
Yeah.
I have a bunch too.
Yeah,
so.
I got a cool one too. It actually rolls, and it has little clear sheets where I can put the business cards in there. It's nice, and I write little handwritten notes. I slip them in there, and it's all alphabetized on my Rolodex. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here. Now, so we got the last two stories we got today are fun, and we've had a lot of fun news today. Actually, not so much negativity, and that's always good. Woohoo! I'm already in a Kickstarter Comixology. I'm set for Amazon's Overlords. Yep, there you go. Go ahead, Thunder.
Godzilla vs. Kong. Set footage and photos offer new glimpses of locations, action sequences, and story details. Now that is a well-written headline. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been talking about this for quite a while. You know that most of us here are Godzilla fans, and at least Thunder and I are. And I actually, the first movie with oh God, who's the Breaking Bad guy? I can't never remember his name. He's a good actor.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, yeah. He was hardly underused in the first movie, and I think that put a lot of people off. But the first movie, I like a lot more than most people. I think that movie was perfectly paced. It was gorgeous. I loved it, loved it, and I loved it more in a second viewing even. And if you've only seen it once and you're like, go watch it again. That movie is epic in so many ways. The cinematography is beautiful. The pacing is gorgeous, and I think you see just the perfect amount of Godzilla. actually. Now the second movie, the monster stuff was badass. I loved it. King Ghidorah and Godzilla going down into Mothra. Oh, Mothra was the best we've ever seen her, dude. It was
Yeah.
really, really good. Just cut all the human crap out of it because it was horrible.
Yeah, it was mostly pointless. I mean, let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
All we really needed was Godzilla to go super Godzilla Saiyan at the end
Yeah.
and save the day. It was
Yeah.
great.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
From everything I've watched about Kong, he seems like he's kind of dinky compared to Godzilla.
Well, yeah, they've
So
they've
they
had
have
to
to
size him up,
upsize
dude.
Kong?
And they're adding like cybernetics or some kind of technology to
I
the mix.
understand.
Yeah.
In the first in Kong Skull Island, they mentioned that Kong isn't fully grown. That he's going to get a lot bigger.
Yeah,
Now, I don't
they
know if
did.
he's going to get Godzilla big, but he's definitely going to be a lot bigger next time we see him.
Yeah, no. I've always thought it was weird. I never liked it. This is something, I think it was Toho, right? That initially got the rights to do it, and they ended up throwing in with Godzilla. It was a big cluster with what happened with it, but it just was one of the more popular early Godzillas for some reason. I never cared for it personally, and I don't like the idea of Kong versus Godzilla. It's kind of, for me, Batman versus Superman. It's like, why? But people are excited about it, and I'm going to watch it no matter what, because I saw the King Kong movie. I liked it. I didn't think it was bad at all. I enjoyed it. What did you guys
Yeah, I
think
think
of that Samuel L.
Skull
Jackson? Skull Island.
Yeah, I think that's between Kong being done well and being a good hero in that movie, a heroic figure, heroic monster, and Sam Jackson just being awesome as usual.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great movie. I love it. It was everything I needed it to be. I don't need it to be some perfect cinematography masterpiece. I don't need that. I just need it to be a good monster movie.
Yeah,
and it was.
Yeah,
But where was the monkey sex with the blonde girl?
Oh, right. We needed that. But yeah, that's a good point. The other actors in the movie, I think there was a British comedian, but I can't remember who they were. I can only remember Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson, Loki. What's his name? Who plays Loki? The guy who plays Loki's in it.
Who's the girl? Was the Brie Larson, right? Yeah.
Oh God, that's why I forgot.
Yeah, she's completely forgettable in that movie.
Yeah, I don't.
She could not be in it.
But it was fun. It was fun. Let me see what the chat says before I go and see if I can find some of the imagery here. Eric Hawkins says, I finally threw my Rolodex away. I'll never throw my Rolodex away. You stay away from it, Eric Hawkins. Brett says, Kong versus Godzilla. This is the only movie I care about this year, apart from the New Mutants, which I'm still standing for. Well, dude, I'm going to watch them both, too. I am. Godzilla 2016 had the perfect Halo dive scene. Yeah, dude, the cinematography in that movie was really, really good, and I'm kind of surprised. I don't pay attention to these things. I kind of wonder, did the Oscars give that a nod? Because they should have. I don't know.
I don't think so, because they're snobbish about a lot of stuff, and that movie's probably, I would assume, I can only imagine, is looked down upon in a lot of Hollywood.
Probably, but I mean, it's unfortunate because there were many great cinematic moments. That Halo dive was certainly one of them. Another one is where he's not Godzilla, one of the Mutos are stepping over the train track and just walking past. That was a great scene. Godzilla swimming in with the tsunami. There's so many great things. Let's see. Brett says, I was a toddler watching the classics on VHS with my hand over one eye, as if someone made it less scary. Somehow made it less scary. Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, I get you. The Metal says, I'm losing interest in Godzilla versus Kong. That's mostly just because my roommates won't shut up about it. All right. All right. Breck says, and keeping the original music was everything a fan would want. Yep. Let's see here. Brett says, I still hope Toho is scheduled to make their newer kaiju movie they wanted to start putting out in 2021. I hope they do something, but the last thing that came out from them was Shin Gojira, and I really didn't like it at all because it wasn't even a Godzilla movie. It was just a political statement complaining to the politicians here in Japan. That's all it was, and it just wasn't a Godzilla movie. It was pretty horrible, actually. When the CG monster has a better performance than Brie Larson, laugh my ass off. Well, I didn't even remember she was in that. I mean, they were so forgettable. A booster says, okay, but will Andy Serkis be in a green suit? Probably. He should be. Let's see. It was Toby Kebbell doing Kong in Skull Island. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Tom Hiddleston, of course. John C. Reilly was the best in Kong, though. Yes, John C. Reilly made that
Oh
movie
yeah,
for
yeah,
me. Yeah, yeah. Was he the British
yeah.
comedian I was thinking about, Todd?
Oh, I don't think so. But he was the guy already on the island, the old guy who had sort of that.
Yeah, but isn't he a British comedian? Maybe not. Maybe I'm confused.
No,
But
he's
anyway,
not.
let's go see if I can find some of these set photos they're talking about here. Let me see here. It says it's related. I don't know if it's going to be any good. All right, so okay, we got a couple of pictures here. Is that right? I don't know. Is that right? I don't know. Let me go back over here. I see what I did. All right, let's just click on it here. All right, I'm not going to turn on the volume, but I would just play it. We got some set photos here. They're doing some blowing some stuff up, or we got some trucks moving around. They're shooting at something. I don't know why people ever shoot things at Godzilla. It's not going to do anything. Freaking rocket. Look at that. That's neat, though. Oh, look at the same size. Look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know who you are. We got someone in a military outfit. Ooh, it's just slow. Is he going to be sexy? Is he going to be sexy? No, we didn't get to see his face. Disrespect.
Hmm.
Ooh, a little bit of a CG wire work there. Nice.
Mm.
That's cool, dude. That's cool, though. The gunfire going off. That's neat. Transforms part of the coast. All right. I guess they're working during the corona, though, huh?
Yeah. Good. I want to see that movie.
Yeah, no, so do I. Yeah. Oh, Brett, that was horrible, dude. Look at this this sketchboard stuff. I don't know who you are. Why? I don't know who you are. You're not Godzilla. Go away. God, definitely go away. Whatever you are. What the hell even is that?
That's the girl from Stranger Things.
I was talking
Talk
about
about the other thing.
the friggin' thing behind her, dude.
Oh.
Don't know what that is.
She has a very square jaw.
Yeah, she's kind of the typical thing that is unattractive as possible. It's just what they do, you know. I don't think she's a horrible actress, though. I mean, she wasn't so bad.
No, she's fine. I think she'll be fine as an actress.
Yeah,
She grows up.
and she just wants to make money. I don't blame her. But Hollywood's all about the square jaw and unattractive and cover up all the skin and show as much man butt as possible. And make sure you don't have one white person with another white person. Can't have that. You know, that's the agenda is quite clear. They keep showing this scene, but it's because it's badass. That is cool, dude. I'm good with that. Why is that so? That is so cool to look at, though. The flashing of the fire. Ooh,
Mm.
man. Oh my God. That's a SJW joke if I ever saw one. Oh look, is that a holographic projection they were using?
I don't know.
It looked like a holographic projection, dude. That would make sense if you're trying to get the actors to respond properly and you're using a holographic projecting just to kind of put something in there temporary. So it's not a bad idea. Rodan's coming back. Ooh.
Yeah, why not? He was alive.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah. And of course, Mothra can respawn.
Yeah, Mothra cheats. We got it.
Yep. No, Mothra definitely cheats. But they did her so beautifully in that movie, though, dude.
Yeah, I almost don't want them to bring her back. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Flawless execution.
Why do we have the bald lady again? They like her. He's dead.
Wait a minute. Yeah, how's he there?
Well, I'm not listening. It could be talking about the last movie.
It must be. Yeah, because he's definitely not alive anymore.
What is this? Bullet says, yeah, fat people don't deserve nice things. What are you talking about? I didn't say anything about that. I hate the fat kid in Deadpool 2. Worst part of the movie. That was the identity politics trying to push itself on. Get her. Eat her. Eat her. Yeah, it looks like a holographic projection. Look at it.
Yeah, it is strange.
Well, no, it makes sense to me now that I'm seeing. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah, look at that. The one thing you got to say about Hollywood is they do the kaijus well. They do. A lot of people
Yeah.
complain, especially about that 95, 96 Godzilla, whatever it was, with Matthew Broderick not being Godzilla. And of course, it wasn't. It wasn't Godzilla at all. But it was still a cool ass freaking kaiju movie.
Yeah.
Look at these
Definitely.
wire work they're doing. That's cool, dude. Look at this wire working.
Well, there you go. He was definitely upsized.
He's the same size.
Yeah, he's definitely big, as big as.
He's got to lose
He's
though.
got to.
He's got to lose. Kong doesn't.
Well, I
win.
mean, yeah. What does he got? He doesn't have the. I mean, Godzilla's going to blast him with that darn
nuclear breath. Yeah,
nuclear
it's over
breath.
in one shot. Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
if
got
they
the tail
don't-
sweep and all that shit. But I mean,
If they
who
don't
knows?
bring in another thing for those two to team up against, which I think is probably what they're going to do, I would venture to guess the way they're going to do it is Godzilla will win the first fight with his breath, and then they'll cybernetically enhance Kong, and he'll win the second.
Yeah, no, we saw that with those toy releases. There's definitely cybernetics and tech being
Yeah.
involved, which I'm wondering. One thing, if you ever pay attention to the Godzilla movies, and many of us have, they brought in an alien element very early, and they still use it. And I'm kind of always wondered if Hollywood was going to follow suit with that.
Hmm.
You know, and maybe that toy glimpse we got a few months ago, maybe that's showing us the alien element. I don't know. What do you think Hollywood will go that will take a bite into the alien aspect of Godzilla though?
Well, King Ghidorah was said to be from another world.
Yeah, but they changed that in the movie though.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't King of the Monsters.
Yeah, but no, the last movie we had, they didn't say it was from another technological planet, did they? Oh, I missed that.
Oh, I don't know about a technological planet, but they did say he was from another world. He was the alpha of that world, and Godzilla is the alpha of this world.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's
because
what-
they are doing the Titan thing. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Titans, which is cool. All right, well,
what's Kong now?
he's one of the Titans. He's one of the Titans. Yeah.
He's coming after King Godzilla's spot. Is what he's doing.
Yeah, he is.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is. But they did give us a bunch of glimpses there. I don't need to go through the rest of this article. We saw some wire work there. We definitely confirmed Godzilla and Kong are the same size. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be cool. That was a nice little bit of set footage they gave us there. But I really, really wish that they had eaten Brie Larson. That would have been better.
That's right. That's right. Just a little snarky hors d'oeuvre there.
Yeah, a little bit. Booster says, has toy releases ever been an accurate depiction of what happens in a future movie? Yeah, all the time. All the time. And my question for you, Booster, is why the hell aren't you in here?
Yeah, what is he doing?
What are you
He
doing,
probably just
dude?
woke up. He's probably doing this thing that he does when he wakes up, and it takes him like an hour to even be able to speak normal human language. I don't.
Booster says, Ryan Reynolds liked the kid from Hunt for the Wilder People and wanted him in Deadpool 2. Well, there you go. That answers
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
What did he say?
Ah,
I didn't even hear what he said. Oh.
He came in and said something and left. Typical. Typical. All right. And the last bit of news for today, that of course, with the Godzilla Kong thing, I'm happy. I'm looking forward to it. It's weird. It's like Batman versus Superman, but I was looking forward to watching that anyway, just for it. But that movie was an absolute snore. I mean, how could you make a movie with the DC's two biggest characters in it and it's boring? I mean, I literally almost fell asleep watching the damn thing. It was so bad.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you-
Schneider.
What was that, Booster?
Schneider. Release
it-
the Schneider cut. The Schneider cut will fix
Uh-huh.
everything.
I
Yeah.
doubt it. I seriously doubt it. And
My
the-
gosh, it's
I
Booster.
can't stand
Booster,
these
you
releases.
appeared.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did appear. Yes. So let me tell you something, boys. Okay, these released the Snyder Cut dickheads. I can't stand them. Like, did you not watch Batman vs Superman twice like I did? Like, a first time
I
to
know.
kind of being like, oh, maybe it wasn't so bad, and the second time of pure denial, just to find out that yeah, it was fucking terrible. That movie
was.
sucks,
it
man.
was bad.
And who the hell watched that? Then went to Justice League with Ezra Miller acting like a dickhead and the pointless appearance of Cyborg, and thought, man, if this was just edgier and a whole lot less fun, that would fix it all.
Right. Well, you know the thing though, Booster, about that is that the Justice League movie in a way, is better than Batman and Superman versus Superman, because Batman and Superman versus Superman has nothing memorable in it at all. The only
Yeah.
thing I remember from that movie is Martha, tell Martha. That's it, right? But yet
I
in
remember a
Justice
few
League,
things,
that freaking battle between
Yeah.
Superman and the rest of the Justice League, that was epic. That was just
Well,
cut
man-
that out of the movie and put it on
Yeah.
loop, because that was badass.
Yeah.
I liked Batman's fight scenes when he was on his way to save Martha because he fought like he was in an Arkham game. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Oh,
Other
that
than
scene
that,
was good. Yeah,
um,
you're right.
I remember just about everything from Batman vs Superman, but for the wrong reasons.
They'll release the Snyder Cut,
Like-
and it will be turned
I
to
re-
stone by Perseus
I re-
and Pegasus with the Medusa's head.
Well, that's true.
That's what'll happen.
That'll happen.
I remember Lois Lane being so hilariously useless that she tries to save the day by diving into a pool to get that kryptonite spear, only to get herself trapped and almost die. That was
You know, the funny thing though is, Booster, you hear so much talking about feminism and women are never in movies, which of course is a ridiculous statement. But then again, if you go and you pay attention to women in movies, they always do the stupidest shit. They always
Yeah.
cause
you
all
know
the
what?
drama and trouble in a movie. And therefore, my point is Hollywood really feminist, or are they trolling women?
There's also the fact that I'll give them this, right? They also make Superman an absolute idiot because they're like, here, have this kryptonite spear that will weaken you, but you should go and kill Doomsday with it. How about we give it to this chick that just jumped in and has some of the same superpowers? No, Superman's off to kill himself. All right, no, don't listen to me.
Yeah, right. No, and she's a weapon expert anyway,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which Superman?
She could have just hefted at
certainly isn't.
Doomsday.
That's right. No, there's a lot of what ifs, dude. It
but
was a
then
dumb
she'd
movie.
be a spear chucker, and that would be racist.
Hey, man, Spear Chucker Jones was one of my favorite characters in MASH. What are you talking about? I love Spear Chucker Jones.
We're off topic. What's the article?
I'm not
Show me.
joking. Have you never watched MASH?
I watched a MASH once.
Oh my God, I love that Spear Chucker Jones character. I wish they would have kept him around, man, because they got rid
Yeah,
of
he
him.
was a good
and
character, man.
He was a good character, and I thought he would have fleshed out the Doctor Corps, but they just went with Trapper and then Honeycutt and of course Hawkeye. But in the early episodes, you had Spear Chucker was one of the doctors, and he's right there with him, and he was a great character. I don't know why they got rid of him.
I don't know. It's probably wanted to focus on another dynamic, and I don't know. It was an early time. Maybe there was some other stuff going on.
But what Brett says, this is the only reason I'd care about a Snyder Cut, right? It would at least have a consistent tone instead of like this strangely put together Frankenstein movie that was Justice League out of Snyder's parts. And what's that overrated dickhead's name?
Josh Whedon.
Josh Whedon.
Yeah, Whedon.
I like how you got that from that. That's good.
Yeah. Well, if Josh Whedon can get out of his own way, he can do good things. He's kind of like George Lucas in that way. If George Lucas can get out of his own way, or there's someone to keep George out of his way, he does good. And Whedon is the same way. The whole. Keep in mind, it was a bit of a tragedy that went on there. Schneider's son died, and it was why
Daughter.
he stopped. A daughter was a daughter? No, I think it
You're
was his son.
racist. No, it was his daughter. I'll look it up.
Please do, because I'm pretty sure it was his son. Now his son might have been dressing in drag, but
There were 3 scenes in Justice League that I liked.
Daughter.
Booster was correct. It was the daughter. Claps for Booster.
Yeah.
Obviously, the scene where
No.
they all team up against Superman was great. It's one of the greatest parts in the entire cinematic history of Superman and superheroes. It was fantastic, that fight. I
Yes,
also
that was
really
Epic,
liked-
dude. It's beautiful. Yeah.
I also really like.
I gotta go.
Right,
Get
so-
out of here, you rascal. Get out of
All
here.
right. But I want to say, Zach, thank you. Contact me. Tell me what you need.
What? Oh yeah, sure.
Call me.
Oh,
Love
Call
you.
me. All right. How do I get out of this damn thing?
love connection. Hang on, I'll
Yeah.
take care of it for
He's a
you.
little. Yeah, he's just gonna boot you. There you go. Get out of here with you.
So anyway, the scene where Superman shows up at the end and confronts what's his name, Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
That whole sequence right there at the end is awesome.
Ugh.
I love Superman in that part. I think he's the most Superman that this version of Superman has ever been. He feels like
Steppenwolf,
Superman.
though.
He's so
Yeah, I agree.
epically powerful when he shows up and just starts stomping Steppenwolf like he's nothing. Like, it just feels good. It feels what Superman's supposed to feel like in that end. And then the very beginning, or I think it's around the beginning, where they do the scene where all the heroes, like the ancient heroes, rise up against Darkseid's army, and you see Green Lanterns, and you see all the Greek gods and stuff, and that's just a cool little battle scene that happens at the beginning.
Now,
Other than that, the rest of the movie's bad.
It's really bad. But I wonder if those were Joss Whedon's scenes, and it wasn't a response to the Batman versus Superman nonsense of them fighting, because someone in charge over there said, "No, we're going to show Superman as he should be shown." And thank God they did that, because those are the best
I just
parts of
hate
it.
they use Steppenwolf.
Yeah, no,
Like,
why?
he is a side character in New Gods
At
at
best.
best.
Well,
Was he
Right, that was
Darkseid?
my.
Why not? Okay, so they didn't want to release Darkseid just yet, right? Why not Calabac? Why not freaking Granny Goodness?
yeah,
I
right?
guess they didn't want to use Granny Goodness because it's a really lame name, but she is such a great and underutilized character.
Yeah, but don't you remember the Justice League animated? They came out, and because when the movie started, because I was watching it, and when it started, I was like, oh, okay, they're doing the animated version, and then they just went sideways. But if they had just done a live action of that, it would have been badass, because Darkseid steps right in, and just dominates the situation and takes Superman in captive. Right? That would have been really cool, dude. But they freaking Steppenwolf for some reason, I don't know. And
Who should have been
such a
beatable
bad-
by Wonder Woman. Shouldn't have taken bringing somebody back to life to beat him.
That's
He's
true.
not that. He's not that powerful.
No, he's not. And speaking a little bit of that, let's get into our last story today. Go ahead, Thundero.
Snyder reveals major changes to DC's future plans after Didio's exit. How it affects death metal. Uh-oh.
Snyder, you get the hell out of my death metal.
Leave death metal alone, Snyder. Don't do it.
Better not touch that. Don't do it.
Now, here's the thing, though. Reading through the article and stuff like that, is Scott
Oh,
Snyder.
Scott Snyder.
Yeah,
Not
it's a
Zack
different
Snyder.
Snyder. Yeah.
Oh,
Rogue
okay.
Snyder.
Yeah. Now, by reading this article and stuff, is because Didio's out, right? Is Scott Snyder the new boss? I wonder.
Either, I don't know.
Oh, Jeff Johns was one of the big guys over there.
Well, he is, but I mean, Scott Snyder is
Him and
sitting
Jim
here-
Lee.
And Jim Lee, but Jim Lee hasn't stepped. He's been helping with trying to make money for people, but he hasn't stepped up in a leadership role. I'm just wondering, because looking at this article, it feels like Scott's taking a lead in stuff.
Looks like the whitest metal fan ever. You see that? Like, yeah, I'm a dad, and I also like metal. Yes, I'm Christian hard rock.
Yeah.
Demon Hunter, hell yeah.
I love it. He's I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe Todd has heard something, but I honestly don't know. I would welcome it though. I think Snyder's fine.
Yeah, I like Scott Snyder.
Yeah, well, they say
Yeah,
they're
and-
recalibrating, so.
And him being a writer, it makes sense. Have somebody who can overlook all the writing and someone who overlooks all the sort of the art. Keep
Well-
everything sort of.
Because he's talking about Generation 1. And it sounds like they're really going to push that. And the article says Schneider didn't say whether they were planning on doing this before COVID or not, but here they are. Now, does anyone know anything about this Generation 1 at all?
Yeah, you don't want to know. This was a bad idea. And I thought I heard that some of it was still going to come out almost as an event. And then the idea of rebranding their thing. Because they were going to do stuff like you'd have different versions, like a Korean version, not Korean. You had different versions of Superman. And because you talked about this many times where they would age out.
Yeah.
So these characters would be over their age, and Jonathan Kent would be the new Superman, and Lucius's son would be the Batman, and this is bad. This is just not. You're going to confuse your audiences again when you're just getting into movies. You've only got 6 movies out. Don't do this. This is just a bad idea. So I heard it was going to be an event, not be the change-all that it was going to be.
Well, it says in the article that it looks like they put the whole generation thing on hold, or maybe even canceled it.
I
don't know.
think
think
that's a
that was
good
more.
idea.
You think that's more the Dio's idea?
It seems
It
like
was.
that's
He
what they
was
were saying in
pushing
the
for it.
article. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the guy pushing for that.
He had terrible ideas. Like he I don't know what he did right. Maybe I don't because I don't know enough. But I know all the things he's done wrong, man. He has like terrible ideas of how things should just freaking stay the
Yeah.
same,
No, I agree.
and has terrible ideas for what should change. I don't get the guy, man.
We did a whole show, one of our first episodes, on Dan Didio and his agenda and what he wanted to do and how it was wrong. We talked about it very clearly a year and a half ago. And I'm happy, very happy he's out because I don't like his thinking, his direction, the way he thinks. He's the guy that canceled, Super Sons. Which is a great run,
Ugh.
and he's the one that brought in that man who
Freaking-
shall not be named.
Bandits!
Yes. But this article doesn't really tell us much. All it really tells me is Scott Snyder has taken some kind of leadership role. They seem to be backtracking on Didio's Generations, and he's pushing forward with his Wonder Woman death metal thing. So,
I'm not gonna. I freaking love that. Well, she used the lasso for the chain to rev the chainsaw. I love that. It's so dumb, but it's so
No,
cool.
we need to do an episode of Drawn and Quartered where we do death metal versions
Death metal.
of characters.
didn't we do something like that already? Or maybe Mike did?
Then we did an amalgamation version of characters.
We did.
Yeah, but that was just that's not death. Death metal.
No, I agree. Maybe we should do that. Even if we did, we can do it again because you're right. That lasso thing, it's stupid, but it's cool as hell. But
It's so dumb, but it's so cool.
yeah, and
Like
also
there was this image of Batman playing guitar. I freaking shit on Twitter earlier. Okay, how do I screen share in this thing?
oh, let me come back
Let me-
over so you can do so.
What do you mean how? You do it all the time. You know exactly how.
Shut up! Shut your whole mouth! Shut your whole mouth! Bloop, bloop.
All right, fine. Let me click on it. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, there it is. Badass. Look at that, dude.
Look at that! It's so dumb, but it's so cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things, dude. Yeah, but because there's a couple of characters aside from the Punisher, of course. Before everyone screams at me, but there's a couple of characters that because we know heroes don't kill, we get it. But it's let me come back over here. Let me get rid of that. All right. All right, there we go. There's a couple of characters that you can get away with killing. Captain America certainly be one of them. He is a soldier. And of course, Wonder Woman, and of course there was there was a whole arc where she did kill someone, and Batman and Superman were very upset with her. But
That was pretty dumb because she did it to save them, and they were like, "Why did you kill the person? We should have just dead."
it sounded exactly like that too. Let me stop screen sharing here. But she's a character. She is a warrior. I mean, that's what she
Absolutely.
does, man. So I don't know what the
Yeah.
problem with it is. It doesn't want to stop. All right, well, fine. I have no trouble with her, chainsawing people in half. I think it's cool. But anyway, it sounds like DC is making several good moves. They're getting rid of the Didio agenda, which is good. They are trying to expand the distribution market, which is good. I think DC's done several, and they've been very positive in promoting comic books, and they've been trying to listen, and they've been trying to do stuff much more than Marvel. So right now, all I can really do is praise DC for making an effort. I am kind of curious. We've kind of talked about this a little bit on a couple occasions, but let's end the show with this. Why is it that DC is doing what they can for the comic book, community, the comic book world, but Marvel isn't? Why is this happening? Now, I'm not saying DC's successful. I'm not saying what they're doing is good. That's not the point. Why is it that DC seems to be putting an effort forward and Marvel clearly isn't?
I think they're seeing the opportunity. They're seeing the opportunity that Marvel isn't. So they're going to be like, well, look, people, we're trying, because out from the both of them, DC is not as well off financially, as Marvel is. So I think they're seeing this opportunity to try and get back some of the confidence from customers, and they're saying, and so they can go to say later when things kind of normalize, like, hey, no, we were there for you, and Marvel wasn't. You know?
Yeah, I guess, but that doesn't explain why Marvel is doing what they're doing.
What's Marvel? Why? It's run by people that just don't care anymore. So why are you surprised? That's my question.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
well,
I'm sorry, but it's true.
it is.
Yeah.
I guess it's sad but true. Anybody else?
Japatra!
Anybody
Just made me
else?
think of Metallica. No one else. No one else. Just
Fine. Let's see. The chat over here says Betty White for Granny Goodness now. I agree. Before she dies. And does he order it by gender or alien race? It's probably gender. It's all gender now. Funny. I like Scott Snyder's creator-owned properties way more than anything he's done for DC. But I don't think he. I do think he's pretty solid all the same. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Gen 1 is the Wonder Woman JSA origin of the DC Universe heroes, I think. Yeah. Gen 5 was going to be the different versions of the current namesake. Yeah, Todd mentioned that. Remember when Cap was a Hydra? Dude, shut up, Bullet. No one who sees Marvel movies bought the comics to know about that stuff. Sad but true, dude. Yeah, sad but true. And Bill and Ted did it better. What? All right. Well, I guess that brings us to the end of the show. Interesting stuff. A lot of fun articles today. Not so much just dreary, sad news, I think. And we had quite a speculation about Kickstarter too. I'm wondering how that's going to turn out. But let me go here and let all these guys give the closing statements, and then we'll get ourselves out of here. Let's start with the booster.
Booster. Me. I'm Booster. Everyone knows who I am.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of important things to say to the world?
Booster wants to endorse a new game he's recently started playing.
You shut the fuck up.
What game? What game?
No,
What game? What game?
Bring this
You
here.
have to say because you.
Well, for about a year, I've been pestering Booster to
Such
try
a son of a
Assassin's
bitch.
Creed Odyssey.
Could you guys take over a minute? I'm getting a call from my wife.
Go ahead, bud. For about a year, I've been pestering Booster to try Assassin's Creed Odyssey because it's a good game. It's surprisingly a good RPG. And he finally did because it was on sale, and he's been playing it nonstop for like 4 days.
No, it's
good.
pretty bad. I have to take a break. It's pretty bad, right?
It's a good game.
Because
I'm proud of you,
I ha-
Booster. I'm proud of you.
No, no, serious.
None of this
I
Pokemon shit.
you shut your whole mouth. So I need to take a break from this freaking game, right? Because I've gotten to the point where I'm drifting asleep. All I hear is the music, the battle sound effects are in the game, and I see decreasing health bars while I'm trying to go to sleep. It's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Immersive game. You can get sucked way
very
in.
addictive.
Yeah.
It's just shit. I just want to get stronger. I just want to kill people. I just want to murder. It's been so long. I think the last time I had decreasing health bars in my dreams was Dynasty Warriors way back.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
Thundera, what
Yes.
game is he playing?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
No, it's good. We're good.
He fought it for a year. I had been telling him he really should play this game. I think he'd love it. And now, since he finally did buy it and start playing it, he's played it basically nonstop for 4 days.
Well, I mean, it's fine though. But if he didn't play the woman, then he's a Nazi.
He didn't play the woman.
Oh.
I told him. He picked the
In
big,
my
strong,
defense-
strapping man.
in
so he
my
could protect
defense-
dudes.
In my defense, I like it when when I'm swimming, I can see up the dude's skirt. I can see his tight little balls in his undies.
That's true. That is fair. That is
Yeah.
fair. But no one played the woman. That's kind of the problem. That's why they were bitching so much.
I did. I loved it.
I played the woman.
She's probably bitter because this guy's voice actor kind of sucks.
Well, no, she is. They intentionally made her better. They did.
Yeah.
They intentionally built it that the female playthrough was much better than the male playthrough because
well,
politics.
the exact same. The exact same playthrough, Chester. I don't think they were all in a
No,
board
they're
meeting
not.
like, so
That's-
how can we push the feminist agenda today?
No, dude, they're not. That's the point. They're not.
They're
the
not?
female one is
Bandara, are
intentionally
they not
better.
the same?
They're the same. The story's the same. but her voice acting is far better, far
Yeah.
superior.
Yeah, it's clearly done, and it's interesting because we've
I
seen
I don't think that's a conspiracy, Chester. That's stretching, bro. That's silly. That's silly.
No, dude, that's a big topic about it in the community, the gaming community, actually. But the interesting point was we had the Xbox Series X, I guess what they're calling it, digital conference the other day, yesterday, maybe. And I watched it, and they had a bunch of stuff that I don't know. Some of it was interesting, but of course they talked about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I thought it was very interesting that there wasn't a female to be seen. So I mean, and it's like, well, they're gonna have one in there.
But
So I mean,
I was having a good laugh at half these voice actors sound like Jordan Peterson. I swear. How can I be of service today? They sound so silly.
he doesn't sound Indian. What are you talking about? You damn.
No, is it half the voice actors in Odyssey? They
have the Peterson
sound silly.
sound. Oh, I see.
They sound like Jordan Peterson mixed with an Indian.
Jesus. But did anybody else watch the Xbox conference yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think? Oh wow, that was really
I did
enthusiastic.
not actually. I didn't even know they were doing it. That's
Yeah,
how
no, it's just the thing was that it's okay and stuff, but the thing is that it's this is kind of a weird generational step up because it's like it's needed for the hardware and stuff, but wait, what just happened?
Someone's
it's
trying to
just
share
a
screen.
Look at. Go ahead. Keep saying what you're saying, but go ahead.
But graphically, things aren't really looking better. It's just like more processing power to do more. So it's like I'm not really excited for anything that I don't already know about, And their game lineup wasn't extremely exciting, and the console isn't extremely exciting. Nothing about this next generation console thing is extremely exciting. Like when PS4 finally shows what they're like, what it looks like and everything, based on their whole entire spiel on what they're focusing on in the PS4 and how it's like supposed to be very immersive and they're really going for this strange sort of audio visual triggers and like they're really trying to do this stuff, but we need to see it in action and Xbox doesn't feel like anything new for some reason.
I agree.
I didn't get excited about it.
Neither did I.
I'm really concerned because the Assassin's Creed Valhalla on the new Xbox is going to play at 4K 30 FPS.
Ooh,
30 Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
30.
That's
It's like
Yeah,
what is this? 2010?
Like
Oh, I agree with Zach 100%. I wasn't enthused at all. But of course, what this means is Xbox blinked first. So PlayStation has the opportunity, right? And it's one or the other always blinks first. And I hope
it's why the
PlayStation's better.
PS4 won the generation, even though the PS4 Pro was a weaker machine than the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
It's such a terrible name. They did everything right, man. Like Xbox came out with their terrible ideas of going with television and everything. PS4 is like, we're with you gamers, yeah. And also, our console just happens to be $100 cheaper. No, we just didn't think about that an hour before. We found out the price of the Xbox.
No, right, and it was smart. They won that generation, and of course, Xbox has given them the opportunity to win this one. So we'll see. But I wasn't enthused at all. You know, one thing that happened, Zach, when I was watching that makes me sad, dude. If this was 10 years ago and I saw all the new female characters, they're all coming out, I wouldn't even blinked at it. I was like, ooh, that looks interesting. I wouldn't even cared. I would have just looked at what the gameplay was, and I would have been, is it interesting to me or not? But now, every time I see all these female characters being thrown at me, my brain says, is that agenda?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Is that there's nothing? Everything's been affected by the agenda. And I saw this great meme. I don't know if you saw it, Chester, but it was a great meme on Twitter, which was Japanese RPGs and male and female. And it was like, the male was all bulked up in armor, the female was skimpy armor. Yeah. And then it said American RPGs, and it was both of them were the male, except they took the pigtails off the girl from the Japanese one. and it was like this, like just a manly looking woman, and then they did a
The
one that was
Korean.
just Korean, yeah, and it was
They're both
all
sexy and
female.
effeminate.
yeah.
Right. Well, the Koreans
And
have a
it's-
problem with that, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, it's
It's just, you know what I mean? It's just, it's horrible. Like what happened to sexy females in games?
well, but it's more to that than what I was saying is they've made me skittish.
Yeah, I'm so excited about the cyberpunk thing. It's because like it feels like they're just like F everything. We're gonna let you do whatever you want.
Well, that's the Baltics people for you. They don't give a shit. They lived under communism, man. You can't tell them nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's perfect. It's perfect because it's like then it's gonna come to America and whatnot, and it's just gonna be more people that'll be like, well, you know, these extreme progressives are trying to say that I can't play this game. Well, screw you. I'm gonna play this game.
Right.
That's what they did with GTA. You know, all
And-
these crazies.
That's right. And of course, in the Cyberpunk game, Booster will be able to customize his genitalia.
Yeah, he'll actually be able to make it bigger than a nut.
That's right.
Oh, I'm gonna be able to use it as a weapon by the time I'm done with it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we were all curious about that. It's like when they say customize it, do they mean like you could make it like a third attachment?
I want
I
a
don't
dick
know.
rocket.
Yeah. But you know, one thing that I think Thundero said this the other day, it might have been Todd. I think it was Thundero. Made the mention that there's so much of a push. We're seeing so many hints of cyberpunk coming at us, and you know, Alter Carbon being one of those. And that's a good thing, dude. Was it Todd when he was talking about how much he hates zombies? I can't remember.
That was me.
No,
It was
maybe.
you. It was you.
Yeah.
But,
I don't hate zombies. I'm just tired of zombies.
Yeah,
They've
we
been
all
doing
are,
it
dude.
for
We
a
all are.
decade now.
We all
Move
are.
on.
It had its moment. You know, it was cool when I was in high school. You know,
Yeah, but
But-
just imagine if Cyberpunk becomes the next thing, though. That would.
I'm
be
okay with that. I'm
badass, dude.
totally okay with it. Well,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it as long as it stays with Cyberpunk's 2077 and the first season of Alter Carbon. Anything other than those two things, then I'm kind of going to be like, get away from me. And also, I'm not okay with. I don't know what that whole entire Booster. You might know about like more
Yeah.
about this. Is that weird cyber rock or whatever it's called? You know, those weird guys that wear the black and the like neon green and neon pink, and then they dance, and it's just they look all funny. And they're all.
What do you mean? The industrial guys? What?
Yeah, those industrial guys. Yeah, as long as it
Yeah.
doesn't go there, I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, we saw in the Xbox digital conference yesterday that there was a game called Ascent, which is one of those isometric type of games, right? And that was Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
The thing is,
but-
is that I don't know if it's just that's like because someone I think it has to have that one big thing that everybody's like, oh, we can make money off of this, which is started with the CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk and Alter Carbon. I think those are the two big things that people were like, oh wait, there's money in this, so let's do that, and that's why everybody's kind of going into the Cyberpunk route. But to be honest, like there's been like for a while, like you could think of
No, I'm screen sharing.
what's the booster
Well,
showing?
I was trying to. I've been waiting for Thundero to do his screen share. I'll come back to you in a minute. Let Thundero do his thing, and then I'll come back over to Booster.
I just didn't know if anybody saw this. Apparently, Brian Adams went on a scree today about Chinese people eating bats. So he said tonight was supposed to be the beginning of a tendency of gigs at the Royal Albert Hall, but thanks to some fucking bat-eating, wet market animal selling, virus-making, greedy bastards, the whole world is now hold. I think he meant it, or is on now hold. I think he meant
It's
is
on
now.
now hold.
Is now on hold. He was drunk.
It's interesting. I wonder if you think Brian's too big to be canceled, because they're gonna try. They're gonna
Of
try and
course
paint
they
him.
will. But I'll show that to my wife because she loves her some Brian Adams. Seriously. Yeah, no, he's not wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
what do you
no,
want?
he's not.
He's not wrong.
I just thought it was funny. I just happened to see it.
Cool. And go ahead. Oh, here's Booster. Let me bring it up.
Booster?
Yeah, I'm bringing you up. There you are. Oh my God, he's gonna play something. Here we go. I'm gonna get Community Strike. All right. Ooh.
Yeah, this does look pretty good.
Oh, this is This is in Cyberpunk though.
No.
Is it not? This looks very cyberpunk to me.
Well, it is, but it's not cyberpunk. It's cyberpunk, but it's not cyberpunk 2077.
No.
I don't
Oh,
think
right.
so. No.
No, it's
Ghost
not.
Runner.
It's a new game called Ghost Runner.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of has that. What was that? Destiny has that kind of Destiny look to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just want to say that before everybody jumps on this is like who, there was a guy named Dan Levisi who made a book called Last Man Standing, and it was just a pitch book essentially of a world he created, and it feels like that was a huge influence. I should get it out and I would recommend people look it up, Dan Levisi, because if you look at that, this predates all the stuff we're seeing by like 10 years. Like the design, everything that you're seeing. Like he created worlds like this before, and I just want to make sure people know about him before he gets lost and no one knows.
Oh no, good point. I mean, and there's so many cool cyberpunk. I'd love to see the genre shift away from zombies into that. That would be cool. There's so much.
Seems
so
like
much
a lot
rich.
of cyberpunk's coming out.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool, dude. But one thing though, with the Alter Carbon, Zach, I love the first season. I love that actor,
Right?
and it
So good.
It was so good, and they put and that movie, that series did have some identity politics in it. It did, but the storytelling was well done and it was focused. And I initially with the Alter Carbon season 2, I didn't want to watch it because that actor did such a great job, and they kicked him off and they re-sleeved him into into that black guy. And I don't mind that black guy, the actor. He's fine, but it pissed me off, and I didn't want to touch it. But then I was like, fine, and I went and watched it. It's not good, dude.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I watched the whole thing. It wasn't the original cool, intense, like push the boundaries feeling. Like it was constantly, the first one felt like it was constantly pushing the boundaries. Every episode, I was like kind of either hanging on my chair or I was like looking over my shoulder, And in that second season, it just felt like a summer show or something.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good at all.
Yeah, even the cinematography and everything felt everything was downgraded. Every single thing was downgraded.
It was, and I just want to know why they got rid of the actor from season 1. He was really good.
He was
because a recognizable actor wanted in.
But
he is a recognizable actor.
Yeah, and he's black.
Yeah, it's the agenda thing, and that's why I was kind of hesitant to even watch it. It's true, and it's too bad. Once again, they're making us hesitant, right? Because that actor, that guy, he's not so bad. I've seen him in things. He's fine. Although I didn't care for him in this one. But it's there.
He wasn't terrible. Even in this one, he wasn't terrible.
No, he wasn't. But the show wasn't good.
Terrible.
But the thing is, they're making us hesitant about these actors, and that's not even fair to him, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have any of you guys seen Hollywood?
I'm sorry.
Not for the.
Say it
have you
again?
guys seen the miniseries Hollywood?
No.
Hollywood.
No. There's an actor in it that looks like he could be Superman for the rest of his life. He has the looks. You know what I mean? He's just a little bit scrawny, but he was in a show called The Politician that was also on Netflix, and that was kind of a really woke show. But Hollywood is a reimagining of what if Hollywood had put some black people, in leads early on and stuff like that. It was sort of a whole Elseworlds kind of thing. But this actor that's in it, man, he looks like Superman.
Well, I mean, we do have good news on that route, though. They were going to make a Supergirl movie. It's been canceled, and Henry Cavill is back as Superman. Those are good things. Because I like Henry as the Superman. I don't think he's been used properly. I think they made him whiny. But Henry clearly can be Superman. Clearly.
Absolutely.
So, I'm looking forward to it.
It's a shame that we haven't got to see him be the symbol of hope Superman that he should be. And that's why it's the only part of the Justice League movie that I genuinely enjoyed beside the other two things I mentioned. Is because he felt like that. He showed up, he saved the day, he beat the bad guy down. It just felt good to feel good watching Superman and not feel like conflicted. You know what I mean? I want to feel good when I think of Superman. I don't want to feel conflicted about it.
No, and that's of course what Hollywood does. They want to take the hero and tarnish them, and they want to make the villain
Hmm.
sympathetic. It's a
Yeah.
part of their multi-level, the multi-layered agenda. But anyway, we were supposed to be saying bye and getting out of here, and that was freaking 15 minutes ago. All right, so let's do that. Booster had his thing. Let's have
Yeah,
Todd
I had my
namaste
thing.
us today. Let Todd do
Oh
that.
no.
So Thundero, please give your closing comments.
My closing comments is I will see you guys on Wednesday. Other than that, stay safe, everybody. It's been an interesting day with some of the things. Unfortunately, a couple famous people died.
Yeah.
But, it happens. People die. It's going to happen to everybody one day.
No.
Other than that, yeah, have a good night.
All right, rock on. And of course, come in and check out
Remember,
tomorrow.
you'll die. Memento mori, boys. Jesus Christ.
Tomorrow, of course, we have our Bugbear's Basement where we're continuing in Eloterra episode 6. Definitely come be part of that. And of course, we have our fan speak on the Wednesday, and then Thursday, of course, we have Drawn and Quartered Ultimate Edition. And this show this week, what are we doing? Let me check the schedule real quick. We are doing Oz. We're doing Eric's thing. Sweet.
We're gonna Eric's versus Eric versus Eric.
Yeah,
We're
Eric
gonna get
versus
as many
Eric versus
Erics in
Eric.
as we
Yeah,
can.
and we got Nino Talski too. That's cool, dude.
I hope so. Yeah.
No, that's we got it says right here: Eric Weathers, Eric Hawkins, and Eric Niltalski. So it'll be the battle of the Erics.
If we
And
can
then
get any more Erics, I'm keen. I just want the entire panel to be Erics. Replace me with an Eric. I'll be Eric that night. I don't give a shit.
you should be. You should give yourself a new Eric name.
Booster,
Yeah,
you have enough names. You don't need Eric too.
true.
I had that many names.
Yeah, but definitely check us out for
just-
that. But we're going to close the show out today with Todd, who's going to give us his thoughts, and he's going to namaste us the hell out of here, dude.
Yeah, let me see if I can do this. This is the first time for me, so
Yeah, no problem. Easy.
Okay, don't accidentally show us your
all
porn.
right. This
Oh,
dropped
yeah.
today on Kickstarter, and the reason why I bring it up in the good namaste is this could be good for Florida Man. Obviously, we all like Mike Barron here.
Mhm.
We know he's written some really good comics in the past, whether it be Punisher and his Flash run and stuff like that. He worked with Butch Geist, which I had forgotten about that. One of my favorite artists. But this dropped today and funded already. So this is really great news. Nexus novel, if you haven't, guys, everyone's always looking for a good read. I'm kind of interested in a Nexus novel because I was a huge Nexus fan, as
Yeah.
was Chester.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna check this out, and I'll certainly read it and pass along what I thought about it. But good on Mike for launching and making it all in one day. I love that.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. The thing about Nexus, I loved his Badger run, but his Punisher was killer, dude. He had a really good Punisher run, actually. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even know this was coming, dude.
Mhm.
Can you scroll down the page a little bit?
Wait, hold on, give me a sec.
You
What is
just
this?
scroll down.
Oh, it just a good write up, and then he has a bunch of covers that he shows.
Oh, I see.
Photographs. But this is the cover of the book, which is beautiful, painted
Yeah.
by Steve Rude. And here's some of the pictures he took of his own collection of comics.
Right.
I don't know why I did that. I could have sent him the covers of all these.
Well, what's interesting in a couple of those interviews that we had with him talking about Florida Man and his things he was doing, he sent me a bunch of JPEGs of his various stuff, and one of those was a Nexus, but I didn't realize it was this cover. So I actually saw this a year ago. I didn't even know that's what it was for.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty
so
cool.
good on Mike. I'm glad he funded. Yeah, I'm glad he funded it in the first day. That's awesome.
It is awesome, especially a
cool.
book, right? It's not a comic; it's
Yeah.
a book.
Yeah. No, and I don't know. I remember hearing he's connected to Kevin J. Anderson. I guess Kevin J. Anderson has his own publishing unit or some sorts, and I know I've read some Kevin J. Anderson novels somewhere along the way in my youth, but he has a nice little write up here, and
Yeah, I saw
this is
that.
good on Mike because he's got like 6 or 7 really good novels that I have come highly recommended like Banshee. And Banshee's about comes back from the dead or something like that. So that really sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, you know, and actually, it's really interesting that he's doing the Nexus novel because a lot of his novels recently have been more, slice of life type of more mundane, not superhero stuff, which is fine. He kind of moved in that direction, but it's nice to see that he's brought the superhero back with Nexus. That is cool. All right. Well, before you give your namaste, though, please close that because it is interfering with your mic, dude.
Okay, let's see.
There you go. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
So obviously, my closing statements is, you know what? There's good material out there. You just got to find it, and everyone should talk to each other, find out what they liked, and use word of mouth to get people onto things they've never tried before. Because there's a lot of stuff that is worthy product. I know we talk about the bad stuff and the things that some of these companies are doing and the woke stuff, but there's a lot of good product. I've seen so many good comics. Like the Lucent comic looks awesome. So I always encourage people just to go looking for it. It's there.
Yeah, I agree. Namaste. All right,
Namaste.
guys. Well, later.
Aloha.